Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
If not for you, I would not be here.
Wait.
In both places.
Welcome to Texas.
Thank you, sir.
Joe.
Thank you.
Welcome. You bring tremendous, exciting, and good energy to our city and to our state.
I appreciate that very much, but I'm here in a big way because of you. So before we even get started, if you do not know, Adam was the very first podcaster ever. He's the real. If you want to have a patient zero of podcasting, it's you.
Yeah, I'd say that's arguably correct. Yeah.
I would say it's inarguably correct.
Yeah.
And then also you talked about how much you loved it here.
Yeah, and I've been
So
here
those two things,
11
so
years or
this
so.
is- Without you, we would not be here for those two things.
Right. Well, it's really because after I did your show, which I cannot, the only thing better than going on the Joe Rogan show is being invited back on the Joe Rogan show. It was incredible for me. You renewed my credentials.
No, well, listen, I think you're awesome. I think you're one of the most interesting guys on the internet. No bullshit. I really do.
Thank you. The other thing that's very interesting is I told you when we were doing the show that time, we were kind of getting a little baked. I'm like, this is when my Tourette's shows up. I have a mild form of Tourette's. And so because I had said that, it was like, I felt really comfortable just being who I am and not having to worry about, I don't want to tick right now.
Right.
Steve Mnuchin, our Secretary of the Treasury, he also has Tourette's.
He also has a hot wife. But bam.
Well, this is, of course, one of the superpowers you get when you have Tourette's. You
She's
get a
one
hot
of
wife.
Hot wife that wears those.
Yeah, baby.
She's one of those
That's what you get.
ladies that wears those gloves that go all the way down to the elbow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the
Real
lady's
classy.
like, oh, he's kind of weird, but I like that. So, but you could see him, he's testifying before Congress, and you can see him like, stretching his neck and shit. It's so it's
Interesting.
But once it's out there, then it actually removes all the tension, and even on the YouTube comments, people are like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy, man? It's like, is he backing up his files every 5 seconds when he's when he's batting his eyes?
What exactly is happening if someone is there a physiological thing that they've identified?
Yeah, it's like sparks happening in your brain, and they're not really sure what it is. It's Gilles de Tourette syndrome, and there's all kinds of stuff they say can help. And
What are the things they say help?
Oh, certain herbs.
I always get fucking fishy.
There's a lot. There's a lot of people say it's trauma that the body is held on to. That's very possible. That could be it. But it started around when I was 7, so it could also be, I think, possibly vaccine related. I'm not saying that I'm anti-vaccines, but I know it happened then because my parents took me to the doctor. My dad, interestingly, also had Tourette's.
Vaccines are one of those
so it
things.
can be hereditary.
Isn't vaccines are one of those subjects where people tense up, and you're either all in or you're not.
Well, you're not allowed to just want safe vaccines.
You're not allowed to say I am 100% pro-vaccine, but vaccines are in fact some sort of actionable chemical, right? I mean, what some liquid that you're putting into someone's body,
Sure,
and it's going to have an effect.
And there's all kinds of stuff in there.
Things happen sometimes with people with regular things, with aspirin, peanuts.
Yes,
people's bodies react differently to all sorts of different things. But that doesn't mean that vaccines haven't saved fucking uncountless lives. Of course, they're amazing. The people that figured out vaccines are the most.
I think you have vaccines in a combination of a lot of other things. Sanitation.
Sure.
That's why in New York City, the sanitation department still wears kind of uniforms because they were seen as like first responders when people were living in horse shit and trash. People just dumping it out their windows in New York. These guys came in like the National Guard and they became this force.
Yeah, that's no doubt about it. If you had to live in like ancient Rome and where their shit would just roll down the street.
Oh yeah.
Like, ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how a lot of people got sick in those places, right? In ancient cultures before they really figured out sanitation and sewage.
General
It's
sanitation.
giant.
Yeah.
So that's giant to prevent diseases.
Yeah.
But vaccines are also, how many people have been saved by vaccines? The overall net gain. Like, I don't want to look at people like a chart, but if you did, you'd have to say, God, look at all the people that were saved. Look at all the people that are healthy. But you have to say, but for some people it fucked them up.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a vaccine court, right?
Well,
isn't there?
I mean, I've met Robert Kennedy Jr. In the past.
He's
and-
a big anti. Well, not
no.
anti-vaccine,
He's pro-safe vaccines.
but he's very controversial. This is what I was going to say.
Of course,
Yeah.
because he's challenging the conventional wisdom of vaccines, and we have a lot of media influence to kind of set us up on this path. Where when I was growing up, we didn't have vaccine for the mumps or the measles, and I don't think it's the German measles, and you got it, and chicken pox, and you got that, and so the vaccine industry was able to prevent that and some form of herd immunity, but the way we had these outbreaks and people are all freaking out, and it just seems like it's an industry that wants to keep this type of safety for people, and that's one view of what is good. There's all kinds of views what people think about certain illnesses you should just get to build up your immunity. So it's hard for me to say. It's not black and white. And why should it be black and white?
Why should it be? Yeah, that's the thing. Is like there's room for reasonable discussion without getting into fistfights and lighting each other's houses on fire. And this is another subject where I think that's the case. I think there's room.
I think what's interesting is
Young Jamie had to make first adjustment. We got a whole new setup here.
yeah. Oh yeah, Matt.
How about a
Stop!
nice round of applause
Holy crap!
to Matt Alvarez, the fucking king of the world, who put this place together.
Let me just say, this is so badass.
Thanks, buddy.
When you sent me a picture and I was like, that looks like the interior of an Embraer jet. This is crazy. And then the lighting, and I'm glad my buddy Drew got y'all hooked up
Yeah,
with the table.
shout out to Drew Teague, who put
That's
this
fantastic.
put this together.
And just all of it is.
But
is
shout out
so
to Young
cool.
Jamie,
Yeah.
fucking VIP.
Yeah.
If not for him,
We said, whatever you do, we don't want headphones, and he came through for us. I really appreciate that.
yeah, we
shit,
had
man.
a couple of
That's
sound
boss,
issues,
Jamie.
but that's
No,
just
it
how
doesn't matter.
goes.
I'm the perfect guest for that. I just sat
But you're
here
the perfect guest for the
smoked
first
your weed.
podcast.
I just sat here and smoked your weed.
You have to be the first guest.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Here
And
in the new
it's
studio.
It really is an honor, and let me tell you, man,
honor to
I
have
am
you here.
so happy for you and so proud of what you've done, and to get to someone to put a fucking number on the value you've created with your show. That's like
Let's not do that because
brother,
that's just going to
huge.
freak me out.
No, not at all. That's huge. You get exactly what you deserve
Let's
in
just
life.
have a sip of whiskey and talk.
Right, but what I want to say is, you've made it. This is a big move. You're not going like a television network. This is not Hollywood picking you up. Fuck, this is something completely different. It's another app. It's like an app against another app. This is cool. We see Netflix and Disney and Apple Plus and Amazon. So there's all these different. I think that creates markets, and the place right now may be a high value, but place a value on content, and people are willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
So I'm not against any of that. I think that's very, very interesting and a very logical path, and I'm glad that it's happening to you.
They have a vested interest in the show, which is what other platforms didn't necessarily have. Like YouTube has always been great to us. I don't have any complaints really about YouTube. I think the real problem with YouTube is managing at scale. I think they're dealing with some ungodly number of videos that are constantly flooding into it. But they didn't really have an interest other than, they knew that the show was popular, but it's not like we were working together. They
Sure.
just would take some of the ad revenue,
Right.
but there was no real. It was just a nice place where I could put it up. They can make some money. I can make some money. But something like Spotify is a different situation where they're like, let's do this together. We'll be together. So you'll be exclusive to here, and we want you to do well. And instead of having a non-connected relationship, like a lot of people feel like with YouTube. Which is, again, I think it's because of managing at scale. They can't have a one-on-one relationship with everybody. It's not possible. There's so many fucking people have YouTube channels.
Right.
What is the number?
I don't know.
Jamie, how many
I have
people
no
have
idea.
YouTube channels?
Question.
It's got to be a crazy number.
Billions. Why not? Why not?
Maybe billions? You
Why not?
think?
Maybe.
Why not?
Yeah.
It's the number one video source in the world, right? In terms of watching clips.
There's
It has to be.
31 million YouTube channels out there as of 2019.
31 what?
2019.
31 million. So
31
Million.
million.
What?
Interesting.
That's it?
Well, in our world, this is preposterous.
What is wrong with this shit? It must be much more than that, I tell you.
Why does not people use? There was a period of time during the podcast when I was telling people to do a podcast, and they would get mad at me. They're like, "Stop telling everyone to do a podcast."
Oh, because it was like dirty.
it was like I was.
No, I felt like the lowest rung on the showbiz ladder was VJ, but no, I went and created one lower, which was podcaster.
No, that's not
what
what
it
I was saying.
okay.
I was encouraging too many people to enter into it.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh,
people like,
this
dude, stop telling everybody they should have a podcast. Not everybody should have a fucking podcast.
No, well, this is very important for me because I realized as the Podfather, who really helped create everything in this whole the mechanisms of it all, how it all fits together. It's we're losing something out of podcasting, but what that does is actually creates this huge opportunity in a vacuum because there's other, if you don't mind me saying, there's other Joe Rogans waiting to be born. They're out there.
They're alive right now.
So they are ready, and they need to have the same type of support that you get inside Spotify, and you'll see iHeartRadio and Stitcher. They're going to announce deals, and it's all going to be kind of. They have all their exclusive, and you have Podcast One, and so that's where radio is moving, mainly by the music companies who have a kind of bad business model. They have to pay for every time someone listens to a song, regardless of whether they could make money on it or not. So moving to longer form content that doesn't cost more per minute that people consume is dynamite for them, and they already have people paying, and there's ways to do that, which is great. What I need to make sure we do is that we preserve podcasting as a platform for free speech. It may not be easy for the next Joe Rogan who has a different values or how they speak to get into whatever is the norm inside different podcast apps. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do understand what you're saying. My thought about it every time I told someone to do it was that there's plenty of room.
Yeah. Yes.
There's so many of us.
Infinite room.
Yeah.
Infinite.
And this thought process that people have about not wanting someone. Look, if I have an interesting conversation with someone and they're a fascinating person, I'll probably say you should do a podcast. If they're not doing one, I would suggest it.
Yeah.
And people got.
That's how
but
mine
they didn't
started.
understand. Like that's how all of us got into it. If you enjoy Fresh Air, if you enjoy, Radiolab, if you enjoy No Agenda, if you enjoy any podcast, like, wouldn't you want to encourage some new interesting person to try to get involved and maybe take it to a different place? Like that's what happened with my friend Duncan. Duncan Trussell, from doing other people's podcasts and then doing his own. His podcast is amazing.
You guys did like a 20-hour show.
Oh, we did a 5-hour and 20-minute show.
I mean, I had to spark up like 45 minutes into it. I'm like, I got to get on their level, man. What the hell is going on?
It took me 2 hours just to sober up, and then by then we were drinking.
Well, I'm kind of happy we had a little bit of
yes.
Jamie downtime so we could get ready for the show.
Shout out to the VIP, young Jamie, again, for pulling this motherfucker together.
Yes.
This ship was about
Tiffany
to sink.
Penn Tap.
Yeah, this ship was about to sink, son.
Right.
But I'm enjoying Austin.
So
I love it. It's great. It's dope city.
I'm
happy
people?
there's less people around.
I was going to say, do you know a lot of people here?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because I'm one of the owners of On It. We're right down the street here. So really good friends with Aubrey, and Kyle Kingsbury's here. And then my friend Todd White, who's a jiu-jitsu friend of mine from back in L.A. He has he's an artist.
So cool.
Todd White's a fantastic artist. Really interesting. Does like, I would call it like, what are those speakeasies? Like speakeasy, 1920s-ish, cool, like interesting. This is the art of White. This is my friend Todd White. He does, like, click on that one that looks like, right there. The one, it looks like people at a party. He does that kind of shit. Todd's been my friend.
Oh, cool.
He's a brilliant
kind of
artist.
cocktail loungy type.
Yeah, and he's also a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from my instructor, Jean-Jacques Machado.
That's him?
That's my buddy, Todd.
Nice.
And he's an Austinite now too, and he moved here from LA, so he was also an influence. Talking to him, because he's just a really super cool dude.
What I like about you here, man, is that Austin's pretty liberal. And it's good to have, we need male energy. We need male energy coming back.
We need to meet in the middle and hug.
Yeah, of course.
All this
of course. The male-female model, by the way, I think there's a reason it should work. It feels like yin and yang. It should kind of go together.
Yeah, it takes a while to figure that out.
Not very easy to. Yeah, it took me a couple tries.
Decades.
Yeah, 50. I think around 50, I'm like, Oh yeah, I think I'm kind of figuring it out a little bit.
I understand women way more now because I actually have children that are girls. So you see, like, the idea that a man and a woman is the same thing is like the idea that a cat and a dog. If you said to your cat, if you threw a ball for your cat, and you're like, go get it, motherfucker. Like, what are you doing? Go get it.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man? The dog gets it. We're so different. And when you watch little girls grow up and what they want to do versus I have friends that have boys, like, oh my God, you go up to their house and it's fucking war. It's chaos. They're always hitting things. And
The terrorists, total terror. You know,
and obviously there's a spectrum and there's girls that are into hitting
of course.
things too.
But we have that in common. I grew up with women, 2 sisters, my mom. I have a daughter. I have 2 stepdaughters. Just always a lot of women. I get along really well. I can be great friends with women, but real super male energy, which is what I enjoy about you. Sorry.
No,
it really is. It's nice because I didn't have much of that growing up, and you're so kind of open and nice about it. But you also have jujitsu and all this fucking shit that I don't know anything about.
I'll teach you. You want to learn? We got gyms here.
I am also very lazy. Well, maybe
that helps.
Maybe.
Do you work out at all? What do you do?
Spin class.
Do you really?
I fucking love the spin class.
It looks like fun.
Yeah. Oh, you sit in a
All
dark
the music
room.
and shit?
Yeah, you're dancing on the bike. It's, typically a lot of cute girls. That used to matter, but now I just want the workout.
I get it.
Yeah, but I like someone yelling at me.
Yeah.
Like, do this, do that, and it's kind of rhythmic, and no one sees you. No one gives a shit if you slow down, if you don't make it. But at the end, you're like, I feel good. I didn't hack up a lung. I'm like, feel good. But I hate going there.
Isn't it a dangerous move to have all those people doing cardio in a small room? Like, how many of them are farting?
I've never. No, I'm very sensitive
Really?
to this, and
Nothing?
I've never. No, but often. Let me
would
tell you, I will
imagine.
definitely go to the bathroom before I go to spin class.
Well, you're a courteous
I'm
person,
like,
Adam Curry. and
Yeah,
I
but
appreciate
I have
that
this
about
fear, like I'm on the bike, like, oh fuck, what the hell?
Of course.
That would suck so
The
bad.
occasional fart in yoga class is one of the funniest things.
It's
about
never
yoga.
happened, but oh my god,
I've heard
that
it.
would be horrible.
I've
I'd be
heard it.
horrified.
Actually, my friend Eddie Wong,
Ugh.
when Eddie did for his television show, he farted. I took him to yoga. He wanted to do a bunch of things. I took him to yoga. We went and did a yoga class, and he farted.
That's the pits.
I don't eat before
that's,
I do
that's
yoga.
the pits, man.
Yeah, we had a good time, man.
So, but no, I think it's quite healthy actually. The ventilation is good.
Shout out to Agora Hot Yoga. They can't even open up right now. California
Oh,
won't,
yeah. Well,
won't let them
I go
open up
to-
yoga studios. It's so ridiculous.
I go to ride indoor cycling, and they're limited to I think 11 people or 13.
We need tests. The White House apparently has some test that they could find out in 20 minutes if you have it.
Yeah, it's coming 15 minutes. Yeah.
You just have to accept the
Thank you.
microchip, Adam Curry.
Thank
just
you for
take
testing
the
me.
microchip.
Thank you for, well, obviously,
You're welcome
at
for the
this
test.
point, everybody is basically thinking, come on, Dr. Bill Gates, just give me the fucking vaccine.
Shoot that
Let me the
microchip
fuck
into
out.
me."
I'll take it. And that, is obviously advantageous for people. But I think
You've
that's...
seen the meme about Microsoft. Bill Gates owns Microsoft. Microsoft can't stop viruses for Windows. How the fuck are they going to stop it from human
No, I
beings?
know.
It's a good meme. It's a
Look-
solid point. If you were a comic and you said that would kill. Whoever you are, the meme person that came up with that line.
Yeah. I think that it's concerning all this vaccine, the mandatory masks, the disputes over it. But I think it's really a sideshow to
It
something
is?
much fucking bigger.
What's the biggest thing?
Well,
I feel like I need a seat buckle.
yeah, oh, definitely. What is the one thing that we absolutely lost during the coronavirus? The one thing that went away, it was right in front of our face. We all saw it. Well, what the fuck? We were actually told it had to go away or was very dangerous. What is that one thing?
Probably your freedom. That's what I would say.
Just
your
getting
ability to move around and
started,
go
just-
wherever you want.
No, an
What was the
actual
thing?
control mechanism of freedom. Money went away, cash went away, coins went away. Everyone went digital money, and we accepted it willingly. Like,
Without any thought that someone might be juking the system.
Well, let me continue.
Yeah.
World Health Organization showed Chinese money being sprayed to clean it from coronavirus, which of course we know is preposterous. But
Chinese money being sprayed?
yeah, like in Shanghai, they were spraying money in the. There were memes as well. There was lots of like money can be dirty. There was a
Oh, okay.
everyone went.
I see what you're saying.
I'm not even gonna fucking argue with you about the fucking money. I'm not gonna touch it. That's what everybody
Argue?
said.
You can't argue with me about something I have no knowledge whatsoever of.
Too baked for that.
There's no
Joe.
way we can argue. How can we argue? I have no facts.
Exactly.
I'm not interested in arguments.
I have no
where I don't-
argument.
Here's another thing that people learn.
But there's more to this story.
Please go.
Okay, I think this is really important because it's happening right now. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Okay.
So that went away, and so everyone's kind of now we're using
Lot of-
apps,
right,
and,
lot of
and
digital
these
currency.
apps. It's all different networks and infrastructure. You're not really Venmo actually
Mm-hmm.
connects to another company that then logs into your bank account and acts as you. There's all these different ways it's been kind of gerrymandered and rigged together.
So Venmo doesn't go right to your bank account. It has like
They go through a middleware, Plaid Networks.
the Dark Lord.
No, they just got bought by Visa
Death
for like
Star.
$5 billion. So
It's
just
fine.
another part
It's
of
fine.
because banks traditionally never talk to each other digitally.
We won't do whatever we can to maximize our profits. We promise.
You're
we'll be
gonna
ethical.
you're gonna love it when I get there, Joe Rogan.
We demand social justice while we're sucking green bills out of your veins.
So, we're waiting for the stimulus checks, which is now being negotiated. This is people need money. That
Right.
stopped it's being held up, and we hear this. It's about FBI building being built. It's about giving states money. It's about all these different things, and then we also have this post office controversy. So these
Yeah.
two things going on.
Shout out to the post office.
Well, the post office, it appears, is an important factor in a new digital dollar, which is currently called FedNet, and I think it's called FedNet.
So
And it's
how are
basically-
they involved? How's
Okay.
the post? Okay.
All right, so let's go back. You know,
I'm nervous.
you remember Jekyll Island? You were talking to Duncan
Yes.
about Jekyll
Yes.
Island. So
With
that's
zero
where-
facts, by the way.
Now that-
How
you
about
were-
that?
you guys
if I
were
had to
pretty
pass
close.
a quiz on
You were-
Jekyll Island, I'd get a 23.
You were pretty close. So Jekyll Island is where the Federal Reserve was created.
Right.
In 1910. In 1907, there was a crisis in America. There was a financial crisis.
Right.
And then the bankers, J.P. Morgan, and the actual guys, the old, we have Chase Bank now, and that guy who started that bank, and Warburg and a couple others, they said, this is fucked up. We got to be able to control the interest rate so we can, control the economy by boom and bust, basically, which we've been through all this time. But when they created it, they had to make that the official way to manage America's money. And a couple of years down the line, they got the Federal Reserve Act, which removed our money from the Treasury and gave it to the Federal Reserve. And that's these bankers. And they just gave it the cool name to make it sound like it's a part of the government, but it's not. So they create the money, they manage it, and the United States borrows it from them. You've heard this before, I'm sure.
Makes sense. You should
Okay.
definitely give them most of the money that we have. There's no need.
It's about to get a lot easier
No-
for them.
no
That's the
need
beauty.
for- no
That's
need
the
for-
beauty of it.
Poor people and hardworking folks to have
So-
any of that.
The Banking for All Act is what is on the table right now. That's why believe the stimulus is held up, because they want to give people the money into a digital wallet, which everyone who has a social security number right now has a digital dollar wallet attached to that social security number. And all you have to do is, if you don't have a bank, you go to the post office, you show your social security number, your ID, and you'll get a debit card, and that is basically your entire bank on that card. And the government can put money on, which they will do. Which they will do. No. But it gets better, Joe. It gets better. You want me to blow your
How
mind?
fucking funny is that?
You want me to blow your mind?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Please.
So, because you're a fan of universal basic income, I'm going to tell you how it's going to work. This is coming.
Okay.
So you should really, you want to hear this.
Okay.
Because I think it's really happening.
Okay.
I could be fucking wrong, but
I
I'm just a VJ and a podcaster.
I understand.
But I
remember when you had crazy hair. You were so handsome
It was a
too.
lot of work.
You're
though.
still handsome, but
Thank
you're like older guy
It was
handsome.
a lot of fucking work.
You were
Older-
beautiful.
yeah, I'm
when you were
like,
young, you were beautiful.
oh my God. Thank you.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah, you say that to all the boys. I bet.
Only the
Horrible man.
Podfather.
Yeah. All right.
I think
so,
you're the only guy I've called beautiful to his face.
so
Did I call Rob Lowe beautiful? If not, I apologize, Rob. You're beautiful too. Who else?
you're beautiful, Joe
Thank
Rogan.
you. Mike Tyson,
You
you're
are.
beautiful.
So you remember the cost of like a Toyota truck in the 70s? Like
Well,
$5,000.
I was 3, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's like $5,000.
Yeah, okay.
So now in 2020, it's $50,000. Same
Right.
fucking truck. You know.
Well, those trucks are really valuable now. Those Toyotas from like the 1970s, the FJ40s, those are amazing. There's something about them that like makes you pretend you're Indiana Jones, like you're a rugged individualist with their aluminum door. It's like a fucking, it's like a farming vehicle. Like they're
real.
chunk. They're real crude.
But you could buy it for $5,000, and now you have to have $50,000.
Yeah.
Of course, back then, you made $10,000 a year. You were doing okay. Now you need $100,000 to really say I'm doing okay.
Oh, let me ask you this: why is it that if you look at like a Toyota FJ40, why is it so attractive to us? Why does it make me feel like I want to get a leather-bound notebook and go to the woods and write things? If I'm one of those dudes, I'm one of those dudes.
This is where our roads,
you know what I mean?
part.
If
Joe
I'm one of those
Rogan,
dudes
I
wears
don't
like
know.
a fluffy flannel shirt,
I don't care about cars anymore. I gave up.
FJ40, come on, look at that thing. That is a rugged individualist car. That's
Yeah.
a dude who reads a lot of books and doesn't need a lot of attention. And how come he doesn't have a boy?
Wear no socks. Has no socks in his moccasins.
No, that guy's got boots on in case
he
the
does?
fucking ground's on fire.
Okay,
The guy
that
who
guy.
drives that car right there, that's a bad motherfucker who knows how to tie good knots.
Yeah.
That's what that guy is. That's a guy who knows how to fucking drive those things off road. He knows how to activate the lockers. He's a guy who writes. Maybe he can play guitar by the firelight, but he doesn't have a girlfriend. Isn't it crazy?
Is this
Look
your?
at that guy. He's got a fucking rifle.
There you go.
With a scope,
There
looking
you
for
go.
squirrels.
Every man has a little bit of that in him,
Yeah.
for sure.
A little bit of poser.
Yeah.
That guy's a poser. Look at that shit on his roof. That ain't even dirty.
That's funny.
That guy's probably a dancer. It probably has nothing to do with shooting or driving trucks or hunting. They just put that dude in a beautiful car and made him stand there and look stupid.
So when you get your $1,200 digital in your wallet,
Oh, government money.
which is yes, it's called a stimulus.
Right.
This is the digital dollar, and everyone's going to get this money.
If you're
just going to
guilty
create
of
it.
wrong think, can the government shut down your account?
This is totally where it's headed, of course.
Of course.
Of course. But what's interesting about it is, do you know that interest rates have gone negative in most of the world, which is really upside down? So
Because of the pandemic?
no, this already happened. Since 2008, the whole financial system broke. I mean, it
Because
broke.
they didn't embrace Jesus. We're in Texas. Let's make friends. Because they didn't embrace Jesus.
There's a lot of people, and by the way, a lot also. You have a fucking high quality audience, man. They started listening to
As
No
do you.
Agenda as well. But let me tell you, and a lot of people who are Christian, and they definitely see this as end times, and it's like, is Jared Kushner maybe the Antichrist?
What if they're
That's
right?
All eyes on him.
What if they're right? He looks like Damien.
Could be.
Remember The Omen? I want a picture. Jamie, right now, I need a picture of Jared Kushner next to Damien from The Omen. Particularly when someone's probably already done it. Look at that. Look at that one with Trump, where Trump's out of focus in the middle. Look at that. Satan!
Who knows, man?
Listen, Jared, I'm just joking. I don't believe anything I just said.
Who knows?
I'm just trying to be funny. Oh my God, someone's already made a connection. Jared, I'm sorry. I'm sure you're a good guy. Your wife's hot. Congratulations. And you're very wealthy.
I think
And
it's.
I don't think you're getting a fair shake. I don't think anybody in that anybody connected to Trump gets a fair shake. You don't.
Well-
No one gets a fair shake no matter what happens on both sides of the aisle. We're at each other's throats.
Yeah.
And if I was a conspiracy theorist, and I've been in the past, I would say if somebody really wanted to destroy America and then control it like a dictatorship, how would they go about doing it? I got an idea. It sounds crazy, but I want to release a virus.
Okay. If I'm a conspiracy therapist, so I just analyze the situation. Yes, I think China has a big role in what's happening, as globalism does in general. It used to be only centered around climate change and Green New Deal. and there's a lot of agendas running right now. So the
Certainly.
digital dollar, which I'll explain to you another
Can
time.
I pause before this gets misconstrued, though?
Yeah, sure.
I don't believe what I just said. Here's another possibility that I also don't believe.
Okay.
Like, I don't believe either one of them.
Okay.
Another one is maybe there was some sort of a virus that they were examining and doing tests on in a laboratory,
Yeah.
and somehow it
Yeah, yeah.
escaped.
Yeah, sure.
According to Brett Weinstein, who is an actual
Yeah.
evolutionary biologist,
Biologist, yeah.
he believes that that's probably the
That's
case.
very possible.
But he doesn't commit either way. So I don't.
No, but that's not my field
I
of
don't believe it.
expertise.
I don't.
That's not my field of expertise.
I know, but I just don't want me to be misconstrued.
Oh, of course not.
That's all I'm saying.
That's why I
had to have that
Sure,
caveat.
sure.
This is
I
not something I believe.
No.
I think the whole thing is very. It's so scripted, like in terms of. I shouldn't say that. It seems like fiction, in such a stark way, that if you had an amazing Jack Carr book about some foreign threat that invaded America and brought a virus that brought the economy to its knees and then gobbled up all the stocks and then kept people in their houses and made people scared and then manipulated them. I'm not saying that any of this
You
has
mean
happened.
pretty much every disaster movie we've seen for the past 20 years that we've loved to stream in totality as predictive programming? Yeah, sure.
I remember being on mushrooms once, sitting on a hillside, thinking about the fact that every single civilization besides ours current has collapsed. If you go to ancient Greece and you look around those spectacular structures, those people aren't there anymore, man.
Yeah.
They're not running shit.
No. Well, I think we'll be okay, but some awareness needs to happen.
Yeah.
And just back to just taking it from a media angle, which I think you and I share, the virus, where it came from, all disputable, whatever. The reaction to it, if the tests are okay, if the vaccine is a different, all that doesn't matter to me right now. What happened was I remember this because the first unprecedented thing that we heard was China was shutting down a city
Right.
of 11 million people.
Right.
And that was like, holy shit, that's never happened before. I paid attention, like, God, man, that's some bad shit. So we didn't know what was going on.
We were all terrified.
But what we also saw on Instagram and TikTok and everywhere else was these videos of people dropping dead on the street. Do you remember that?
I do.
What was that? Where did that go? Has that ever happened since? I believe
Well, I think
that.
it has happened for some people that are of poor health. Some people that get affected by this disease,
Okay,
man,
well,
it
I've
fucks
only
them
seen
up.
Chinese videos of this. I have not seen it anywhere else. I believe that set something in motion, some programming that was triggered by authorities such as the World Health Organization, Fauci, Birx, who I remember from AIDS. And they're not clean on all of that either. There's a lot of people pissed off about how they handled the AIDS crisis. 'Cause I
What's
was
wrong
there
with
in
how
New
they
York.
handled the AIDS
Oh,
crisis?
they did tests wrong. All kinds of shit was wrong. There's Michael Musto in the Village Voice wrote a scathing article about how Fauci just wasted all this fucking money and people had died. It was really, and Fauci was hobnobbing with Elton John and the whole,
Is that
I'm
your
sorry,
phone?
that's my phone.
How dare you? The
so sorry.
Podfather
I'm sorry, I'm
doesn't know
sorry.
how to. This way?
It's my,
Me?
it's my.
We could just talk.
Oh, okay, just
Let me
It's
just.
okay.
uh,
Like
I don't
that?
wanna
Is that
interrupt.
better?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
sorry.
hope you leave all that in there, Jamie. No, I love that. That makes it fucking
I like it
human.
too.
That makes it
I
human.
love the fact that you use a flip phone as well. Shout out to Ari Shafir, also
Boom,
flip
boom,
phone
shakalaka.
enthusiast.
Flip phones.
I
rule.
actually think Ari has abandoned the flip phone. The other day, he called me and I said, "Is this your flip phone?" He goes, "No, it's an iPhone." I'm like, "Oh, motherfuckers calling me from an iPhone. Thought it was a flip phone."
Anyway, a lot. I just need to tell you because you're my friend. No one else listens to me, Joe.
Why? You're so smart. They should all listen. Who's not listening, and what are you saying that they're not listening
What
to?
I'm saying is that just look at the evidence in front of you. I think that this is a globalist type of movement. I think a lot of it has been driven by China. They have their hooks in a lot of us in a lot of different areas, and in politics, in education, in finance. I mean, they're in fucking every media, Hollywood, sports. They're in everything. And I think that if this was a plan, I think that it was intended for some other date. Not all the players and the pieces were in place. Remember, conspiracy therapist analyzing it. But a go signal was thrown by them, and then we start. And by the way, the New York Times reported 140,000 Twitter bots were targeting Italy with these Chinese shutdown videos, and so I think that had something to do with it, how the mechanisms of social media were used to get people to shut down. And there seems to be a lot of dishonest people in the medical field, left, right, whatever. I don't care what the president says. Just looking at all the different voices out there. You've seen them.
Yeah.
You know, that you see what's get taken off of YouTube. I got questions. You know, seems
Well-
like some valid things are out there that we're told to shut up.
Well, there is a problem with stifling debate, right?
No, it's
'cause you
a
can't.
problem. What the fuck?
Especially when these people, some of them, whether you agree or disagree with that, all infidelity is caused by demons. Wasn't that one of the things that lady said?
Oh, yeah.
What did she say?
Oh yeah, the
that
Dr.
you-
Simone.
the one
No,
that-
was it Simone? No, I'm not sure. I know which one.
What was
yeah.
it? What did she say about alien DNA? There was something about.
Well, she has a typical Caribbean type church with all kinds of whacked out shit. I
There's
mean,
some strange ideas.
yeah. Well, Catholic Church, Judaism. There's all kinds of weird stuff everywhere.
Shouldn't you let those people talk?
Yes,
Right. Like,
you don't have to shut them down.
and shouldn't you have a video that responds to that explains?
Yeah.
Hey,
No.
this is actually what's going on. The reason why she thinks that is because she doesn't understand blah, blah, blah. Or here's what she's saying that's valid because of this, that, and the other. The problem is you're either with us or against us. And it's been the problem with human beings since the beginning of time. We are team players. We
Yeah.
love a fucking team. We love being American. You know how many people got happy? My old studio, because I had an American flag. Like, fuck yeah, love the new look. Woo! Because I'm on Team America, right? We get on teams, whether it's Team Progressive or Team Conservative or Team Rational or Centrist, or, you know, you don't think the Libertarians are taking it far enough. All of that stuff is there's a problem with labels. I think labels should be illegal. If
Exactly.
cocaine's illegal,
Yeah.
labels should be illegal as well. There
down
should
with
be
that.
no Democratic Party, no Republican Party. I don't want Green Party. Stop it. Libertarians, everybody just thinks you're mean.
No,
let's stop with the
I'm
names.
just unaffiliated.
How about it would
don't have
benefit
to be.
everybody? If
You
you
don't
wanted
have
to combat, if you really wanted to, that's not true, because then people would feel suppressed and they would want to get back at you, and they would go more hardcore underground, what's like backwoods parties.
I believe there is an element in our society that is small but has interesting, powerful positions that hate America. They're not left or right. They just have whole different ideas, and it's been
inside this country.
Yeah.
Is it that they hate America, or is it their interest? Like they can. It's more
Power. It's always
profitable
for
or
power.
beneficial for them.
I guess it's always for power.
to try to do something.
Yeah, there's ideologies. Look, I think you're right. All Americans, I know we're good people.
But I mean, I don't even like saying that.
I do.
People are generally good people.
Sure.
The vast majority. Otherwise, we'd all be dead.
Sure.
Because you would kill
But
me.
when you have
and then Jamie would kill you.
a whole sea of media around you that we
Yes.
live in, telling you it's black, it's white, it's left, it's right, it's up, it's down.
This is
Fear
why
is
I
freedom.
encourage podcasts.
And this is why I have to create podcastindex.org to be independent from Apple, mainly.
I think that's a good idea. But however, as a company, Apple's taken the most uniquely neutral approach when it comes to podcasts. Which
Apple has been an excellent steward of podcasting,
Yeah.
excellent steward.
maybe the best because they're not
Here-
profiting off
Here's
of it.
the problem. And this did kind of I fucked up when I met Steve Jobs 15 years ago, and he wanted me to bless podcasting and iTunes. We talked about that last time.
Yeah.
I also gave him my copy of the index that we had built at the time, which kind of made Apple the de facto on-ramp to submitting your podcast, because all other apps and everything has been connected and getting their information and their searches from Apple's database. So when Alex Jones was taken off of Apple Podcast, plop, 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 like dominoes, all these other apps no longer had the ability to carry that feed, because creating your own index is a big fucking pain in the ass, and the average independent software developer would rather work on the experience and make categories and feature who he wants to, because Apple would feature NPR, PBS. So there's all these experiences that can be built, and these app developers can compete with, if you don't mind, Spotify,
If you don't mind.
iHeart. I'm just telling you honest. We need to have an outside place where, and I'm putting up my own money, and people donate or not. And I think we can.
And
also,
I love that structure.
Yeah, I think we can
I love how you have
retool
that
it
set
to.
up.
We can retool it to a platform of value. I mean, have ideas, and so this will be ready like soon.
There's always certainly a concern when any company has a relative monopoly, whether it's YouTube or iTunes.
And they're not bad.
or-
They're not bad.
It's not bad.
They've been great guys, but we
we're
just need
talking
to
about
have.
with YouTube, it's
Yeah.
managing at scale is almost impossible. And I think people tend to lean
That's different,
towards
though.
they tend to lean towards control and minimizing damage, right? So if you're dealing
Yes.
with 31 million different YouTube channels, and then you have how many different videos each one of them puts out, if you're thrust into this situation, like what do you think the amount of videos every day that goes through YouTube's net is? Let's guess that.
It's hundreds of millions of hours.
500 hours a minute.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. By the way, YouTube's money.
You could never live long enough to watch everything on YouTube. 500 hours a minute.
Yeah, YouTube's real money comes from all those cat videos and other shit. That's the long tail. That's where all the real money is.
We get pretty long views.
But as an elite messaging system, it's all breaking down. That's kind of the problem.
Well, the problem is it's not decentralized, right? The problem is there's a company that's in control of it rather than it being in control by the people that are using it.
This is the problem with all of Silicon Valley. Is I fucking hate them for this, and that's why I have a flip phone. I love your technology. I hate your fucking business model.
But I think that their situation, if I could just for a second, I think it's unmanageable. And I think when they look at their ethics and what they want to do with community and their standards in terms of society, they think it's almost unmanageable if you allow people to harass people or say terrible words or attack people or say crazy shit about 9/11 or promote some weird things about the earth being flat and the moon being fake. There's something about them that like they just want to stop it, it's not true, stop it. You want to step in.
Well, why do you think that is?
Well, it's just human nature, man. But it's an ideology. There's ideology.
No, but why do you think they want to stop it?
I think they want to stop it because it doesn't align with what they've accepted as important enough to talk about. But the problem with telling people what's important enough to talk about is if someone has a crazy idea, like, hey, man, the earth is hollow and aliens live inside of it, you have to be able to say, well,
certainly one
this
theory.
Someone has to be able to come along and say, hey, this is how we know the Earth's not hollow, and this is how we measure the density of the Earth. This is how we know about the core. This is what we like. The problem is not that these people are influencing other morons. The problem is that there's a massive failure in education.
Yeah.
You can't suck me
Yes.
into a flat Earth video, man.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, I didn't spend a whole lot of time in school, but I understand psychology. I understand from a point of not trusting people. I know when people are full of shit. And when someone is making a video, like they're the one who has all the information about the fact that the world is hollow and that there's aliens that live inside of it. It's an attractive myth. It pulls you in. You know, but I understand what people are doing.
I think all of this does have a benefit.
I think so too.
Conspiracy theories, QAnon, vaxxers, anti-vaxxers. It doesn't really matter. The Wayfair, children being shipped in cabinets, the adrenochrome, the celebrities eating children and babies and horrible things. All of that, what that does is it is getting people to, and this is why I think they want it to be stopped, or people want it to be stopped, because at least people are looking at other things and consuming things and making decisions and saying, okay, maybe I should question this, question that. This does have a way of getting people to be more aware and question more things, and that in its basis, I think, is really good. We got training wheels on probably right now. People have no idea we still have tailbones, Joe Rogan. Hey, that sounded Jamaican. We still have tailbones, Joe Rogan. It's all Irie, man.
Yeah, we do.
So what is this
for
doing
sure.
to us? What is this instant access everywhere doing to us?
Well, it's certainly having an effect on how we view and what our expectations are of reality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the way we view reality is totally different now. The idea of running around without a phone is preposterous.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of not having a navigation system on your car is
Mm-hmm.
preposterous. You know, I have one car that doesn't have AC. It doesn't
Oh my
have.
God.
It doesn't have.
Oh, it's the Porsche.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
little 911 from
Yeah.
1993.
Yeah.
It's raw as fuck, man.
I had an 84 911 Carrera.
It doesn't have power steering.
No.
And there's the thing that happens when you, if you're forced into that situation where you have to drive something like that, you go, oh, I got to pay attention to everything. You can get into a drone state, just follow
Mm-hmm.
left in 1/4 of a mile on
Yeah.
Bridge Road. You're
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
Bridge Road,
Yeah.
time to turn left.
Right.
And you just,
Yeah.
you get into a zombie. I mean,
Well, so that's part. So my not having a smartphone with me is
Right.
not because of. I mean, we're being tracked. There's all kinds of ways to track.
what?
It's more about.
Wait a minute. You think we're being tracked?
Yeah.
Russia or China? Or maybe our own?
Fucking commercial companies.
Nancy
They can sell it
Pelosi?
to whoever they want.
Oh.
The U.S.
Google!
The U.S. government doesn't have to spy on you. They just go to Google or 10 other companies and buy your location data.
Is the problem that we gave up the commodity of data? We gave it up.
No, we just need to be responsible and create less data and be smarter about it. So I don't want to. First of all, I don't want to be fucking. I got enough problems in my life.
Right,
I don't
but
want to be
isn't it-
notified all the time when I'm moving around.
But could that have been stopped had we had a time machine? And you could understand what data would be in 2020 versus in 1998.
Yeah. If
Could we
we-
have gone back and went, wait a minute, stop. Data is a massive commodity that's worth billions and billions of dollars. And we are treating it like it's not important. We're treating it like the content is the most important thing on the internet. But clearly the thing that generates the most money for like Google and Facebook and everybody else is not that, right?
What is it?
For sure, it's the data. It's
Yeah.
finding out where people
Yeah.
live, what they buy,
Yeah.
what their
Yeah.
interests are,
Yeah,
what
building
websites
a shadow
you visit.
profile of you. Yes.
How much money do you have? What do you
Yes.
do online
Yes.
shopping? Do you use Visa,
This is why
American Express?
This is why Silicon Valley is competing with the U.S. with the Federal Reserve to be your bank.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be your bank,
Yeah.
baby. Everybody wants that because
Yeah.
that's when they control you.
Bro.
But that's also when you get loans at negative interest rate, so they actually pay you to take the loan, to which you can pay off your student loan. This is going to be
You're scaring the fuck out of
no,
me.
no.
bro.
This is what you wanted. You wanted universal basic income. Here it comes. This is going to, and by the way, it's going to work. This is the crazy thing. Now the control will also work, but the economy will be steerable. I mean, I think that part will really work. But let me tell you, the apocalypse is coming, and you're going to need a Bitcoin, at least one.
Are
Just
you a
have
Bitcoin
one.
salesman?
No,
Adam Curry?
no.
Did I
was very anti-Bitcoin.
Really?
And I was very anti-Bitcoin until I sold a shitload of them at like $900, and I could have really
made a lot of money.
Yeah, I got them
Is-
for nothing.
is
People just gave them to me in the beginning, and I denied it. And then when you look at 10 years, I'm like, okay, I don't fuck all the altcoins and all that stuff. I
That's
don't
what I was
care
going to
about. Nah, I don't
ask
give a
you.
shit about
but
that.
Is
It's a
there
store of
a
value for
risk
me.
in? But here's the question about Bitcoin: is there a risk in having that be the standard? Like, why can't there be competing cryptocurrencies? Like, why are we so? Do we have to get committed to one? And if we do get committed to one, is there the possibility of some sort of manipulation, the same way we've seen with all the other currencies?
Well,
when people get involved,
yeah,
money.
10 years of data have shown that Bitcoin really is the only one that you can trust.
Right.
Now it does.
Really? Is that true? I
Yeah.
just said right for no
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, the way
Other than it
the way
seems
I
like a
see
cool
it.
thing to
Yeah, the
say.
way I see it. That's really the only one that you cannot manipulate, and all of the other coins are based off of it.
Do you know Andreas Antonopoulos?
No, the name rings a bell.
Brilliant
I know
guy.
Max Kaiser. You know.
Okay. Sure, I've
that's-
seen his
I-
videos as
Max,
well.
Max
Yeah.
is. I've learned a lot from, and I, Max has been saying this from day one. Anyway, so we have enough historical information to see that.
Right.
But that has increased in value no matter what you look at.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. dollar, back to my $5,000 truck in the '70s, $50,000 now. That value of that dollar has diminished by 10% because they've just been printing more and more money.
Is that why, or
Yeah.
because of communists? Is that what it is?
Yeah, well, of course.
Hippies and
this-
communists.
So for sure, the United States ruined the USSR with financial trickery, for sure. But now we're just at the end of our rope.
Wasn't a lot of it the space race?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't take
That
me there,
wasn't
Joe
financial
Rogan.
trickery. There's no way.
Yeah, it was all about devaluation. It was really quite
Well,
amazing.
Multiple
We
levels
fucked
of
them good.
manipulation, but
We
they're
fucked them
fucking
real
us good.
Maybe.
A friend of mine who's a computer wizard was doing this thing where he was tracing these certain pages that were organizing like Antifa rallies,
Yeah.
and he would follow the IP back to
Yeah.
Russia.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "What the fuck, man?"
Maybe Russia, maybe China. What the fuck? We had
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton called them techno experts, and we sent them in to the fucking Balkans, Ukraine. We did all that. That's all our techno experts.
Yeah.
Right now you have Belarus. You know, people are protesting,
Right.
and it's really being organized around one Telegram channel called Nextra.
Right.
And these guys worked for U.S. State Department. You know, they got pictures, selfies of themselves in the State Department. They're obviously some kind of propaganda outfit, but they have 2 million followers, and those people are like, okay, we go protest over here. A lot like Black Lives Matter. You know, this stuff is being coordinated.
But
in
again,
very
with
interesting ways.
this, it's so important to talk about nuance and not being connected to any ideas.
This is
Because-
just my view, man.
No,
This is
no,
what
I-
I'm thinking
but
today,
I
bro.
think
I got no agenda.
I think
literally.
you're right. You're also not right. There's also
Sure.
a bunch of people that are involved in that really have good
Fuck
intentions.
yeah, of course.
The
I'm
problem-
generalizing to the max.
No,
Yeah,
you're not even
yeah.
generalizing. You're stating a fact that foreign interests are manipulating our outrage. That's a fact.
Yeah, but we're also doing it to other countries,
We are.
and we're doing it internally as well.
Do you know
Of
who
course we
Renee
do.
DeRosta is?
Yes, she was. Yes, she was.
She's been on this podcast. And she
yeah,
talked,
it's very interesting
Yeah.
because that company that she worked for actually apparently worked for the special election in Georgia, I think it was, and they actually applied some of those tactics. It was.
is that for sure 100%?
I don't know shit
company?
100%.
I
think.
maybe that is true with the
Yeah.
company that she worked
Yeah.
for, but I don't.
She may not have
believe-
been involved in it
I do not
anymore.
believe she would have been.
But
She's a very interesting person.
They
and
knew
her
how to do it. They had figured out how to do this stuff.
Her podcast with Sam Harris. Have you ever listened
Yeah,
to it?
yeah. No,
it's amazing.
I've heard. This is a couple years back, maybe
yeah,
two years back.
and
yeah.
that's around the time. Jamie, when was
What's
she
the name of
on
that
here?
group she was with? Because it was a foundation and it turned
New
into a
Knowledge
company.
and the Data for Democracy.
And I know a bunch of people.
What was
said,
the first one?
New Knowledge.
New Knowledge.
And
That's what it was.
I know a bunch of
yeah.
people said that they were involved in some things that mirrored some of the things she was talking about, but I'm like, maybe they were, but that's
No, I mean,
I don't think that's
there was-
her.
there was
She's
actual-
not the company she works for. She's an individual, you know. and
Right.
as an
Oh, yeah,
individual,
absolutely.
But as an individual, talking to her about
Mm-hmm.
all these different memes and all these different companies that were in all these people that were involved in Russia from the IRA, the Internet
Mm-hmm.
Research Agency, like they're actively manipulating outrage. They're trying to fuck with people. They're trying to make people upset, and it's working.
Yeah, but this is being done by everyone's doing this.
But isn't
They're marketing companies doing it for their clients. They're fast food companies, Burger King, McDonald's. They're
are
like
they going
having,
to war?
They like slam fest on social media all the time. They're like upping one another. Fuck you, Burger King. Fuck you, Pizza Hut. So this is completely cultural. Shit is changing, man.
They're all lucky
This is
that
great.
In-N-Out is a silent killer. In-N-Out just
In-N-Out-
goes, yeah.
In-N-Out
Go
is,
ahead with your ads.
Have you been? You like
fucking
Whataburger?
idiots.
You tried our Whataburger? You like Whataburger?
You guys are cute with your Whataburger comparison to In-N-Out. You can eat shit.
Well,
And by the
Whataburger's-
way,
no
by
man,
the way,
Whataburger is the bomb.
even In-N-Out loses to Five Guys. How about that?
Whataburger uses special people to serve.
Five Guys uses jalapenos.
You know what I'm talking about, James? Yeah.
Murderers?
So we have mentally challenged people serving you at
Whataburger?
Whataburger,
Oh,
and they're
okay.
fucking fantastic.
Oh, well, that's
And they
cool.
will talk about the ketchup, and you can, and they recognize
What if you're
you.
in a hurry?
Then you should not be going to Whataburger. Go to fucking Burger there. You Five Guys, whatever you want.
You
You, do
can't-
not deserve the
you-
Whataburger experience.
You can't be in a hurry at either one of those places.
Yeah,
Both of
you
those.
do
The
not
reason why they're
deserve
awesome
it.
is they cook them right in front of you. See, it's like cook them right in front of you, or I hate myself and I want Jack in the Box. Those are the questions
Yeah.
that we need to answer.
Yeah. I'm really only a Burger King or McDonald's guy.
Dude, my issue would be late at night coming home from comedy. If I was exhausted and tired,
Yeah.
I did
Want
like
something
2
to eat.
shows, the
Yeah.
Irvine Improv, then I drove the hour to. I'm gonna stop at McDonald's and eat 3 fillet of fish like a fucking wolf. I need it.
Hey man, are you gonna miss your hang there at the comedy store?
It doesn't exist right now, and it's currently banned. You know, it's not banned.
Crazy.
Alcohol.
All right, brother.
Alcohol
Cheers.
is somehow or another better than
Cheers.
jokes.
Cheers. Yeah.
People are drinking themselves to death and hanging themselves from ceiling fans.
So I need
But
to
in
talk to you. I need
California,
to talk
they're
to you
like,
about
shut it
the
down.
division part because we can do something about
I
this.
think we can. And
The
that,
division part.
I'm reluctantly coming to the acceptance that this stupid fucking show that I created a long time ago with Brian Redband and young Jamie Vernon has some sort of social responsibility. Because, I mean, it's the amount of people that listen. I don't want, I'm a moron. You're not supposed to be taking advice from me. If I connect you to people that are interesting, congratulations. But trust me, I, like you, am trying to figure my own things out. If I'm 13 steps ahead in terms of like we're running a marathon, I'm 13 steps ahead of you or 13 steps behind, we're all doing the same thing. We're all just trying to get better. Wherever we are at any point in time, we're trying to get better. And the best thing that anybody could ever encourage you to do is think for yourself. Use real critical thinking. Don't connect yourself because people drive by me with American flags. I'm a sucker. Okay, I'm a sucker for America. I love America. My grandparents came here from Italy. They had a great goddamn time. They created my mom. They created me and my sister. We are Americans. So I see that flag. I'm like, fuck yeah!
America, baby.
Fucking America! But I think there's a problem with any kind of teams. There's a problem with any time we look at each other like I'm a this and you're a that, so fuck you. And I think this is what we need to abandon. We need to abandon our attachments to ideologies, even ideologies that we haven't recognized as ideologies. Like whatever the fuck it is. The problem is not brown pride. Like Cain Velasquez, you know who he is?
No.
He's like one of the greatest UFC heavyweights of all time. The only thing that kept him from being the GOAT, the greatest of all time ever, is the fact that he kept getting injured. He had a bunch of injuries, like shoulder surgeries, knee surgeries, back surgery. Like he had like a cage put around his spine. But when part of the problem was his will to fuck people up was stronger than his body. And so he would push his body past its limits and he just kept getting injured. But that's also what made him so special. Because when he was on top, he would just smash people, just run through them. And he's the most American motherfucker of all time because his dad walked here from Mexico. His dad walked from Mexico. He lives in San Jose. Fuck, you know how long that took? That's a long fucking walk. And his
A lot
dad
of people still do it, man.
worked hard and gave him a life. And then he became, in my opinion, when he was at his best, the greatest heavyweight I've ever seen. In my opinion. And he was a force of nature. Insane cardio. But his ability to overcome, feel like he could push through things that other people weren't willing to. So that's why his body fell apart. His knees blew out, his back blew out, everything broke. But it was because his mind was so strong.
Right.
That's America. That's America.
Yeah.
Like that's as America as it gets.
As are my roots from Ireland, Scotland, Germany. Exactly the same.
Yes.
So what if we're very sensitive? We're very I
Yes.
think the root of most of this is coming from the racial issue, black-white, and we need to define some terms, and this I think is very helpful. Instead of saying African American, Black, Negro, whatever we've had in the past, I prefer ADOS, which is a lot of people understand this now, which is American descendant of slavery. That makes very clear who you're talking about. So you can say black, but Kamala Harris, not black. Black, yes, black in color, but not American descendant of slavery.
So you would make a clear distinction between an American descendant of slavery and someone who...
If we want to fucking fix
came
our
from
country,
Nigeria.
yeah, we got to
Yeah,
do that. If we
right.
want to fix our country, this is what we have to do. Malcolm X said, before he became, Nation of Islam, crazy, a little off the radar for me, he said the only way to fix the racial problem in the United States of America is have a white man and a black man sit down at the table and work the fucking shit out. That's what he said. And I've been doing that for a year.
Yeah.
I have a podcast, Mo Facts, with Adam Curry. But I've been talking
I like
to
how
this.
you did that.
I've been talking to this. This is exactly what he started calling me, explaining to me what ADOS was. I was trying to figure it out on No Agenda. And we were talking for an hour once a week. I said, fuck it, this is a podcast. And I have gotten an education in he's like
Does
10
he have a
years younger
website?
than me.
Who is he?
It's mofacts.com. MOEFACTZ. Mofacts.com.
Is that his real name?
His name is Mo.
His real
That's
name?
short for Maurice.
But it's not Fax. Is that his last name?
No.
Imagine if it was.
It's
It's like he was born for this. He's like
called-
the Dalai Lama.
Well, it's like Trump is 45 Savage. You know, you got to have your.
What does that mean?
45 Savage, 45th president, 45 Savage.
What is 45 Savage?
That's President Trump.
But what?
That's his nickname.
It's a rapper called 21 Savage, Joe.
I'm
hello,
old, bro.
hello.
Somehow or another, I'm younger than you, but older than you.
I got lucky this time. I got fucking lucky.
Yeah, I don't know
Anyway,
what you're talking about.
so
I'm listening to country
What
music
if
lately.
what if our problem? Okay, so when you have ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery, which Mo is one.
Right.
If you have ADOS, when politicians say the black and brown community, they feel fucked. Because it's not just the black. This is a group of very special Americans who deserve to be recognized as such.
Right.
This is why they've always been led down the path of voting Democrat, and now there's all this shit is in play. So that's why black-white is always played on us, because that's our weak spot. That's our Achilles heel. We're embarrassed about it. Yeah, I agree with you. Fuck yeah, America. I love my country. I love our country, but we have some fucked up shit that we instead of dealing with it, we're letting other people hijack us over it. That's what's going on here, and it's not racism that we suffer from. It's nepotism. It's nepotism, and I'll explain why. If it truly was, and I can tell you, systemic racism absolutely existed in America, and it went all the way up into the 70s with no man about the house rule. When they came up from the South and went into the projects created by, I guess, FDR, and you know, because they typically ate their own food. Now they were coming here to work, so the projects were created and welfare, but you could not have a man in the house. And this went into the 70s. That had patrols making sure that there was no family with children and a father. Now we have 75% of all children in America without a father in the household. You and I, we got parent privilege. We're not white privilege, parent privilege. A man. My dad was, didn't work out that great with us, but he did put some shit into me, and I grew up, and he was around, and there was that influence was there. That's our problem. Who's running Black Lives Matter? Name me one male leader of Black Lives Matter. No, it's all women, and I have no problem with it. But I do question what's going on here.
I can't argue with you because I don't know who the leaders are.
Oh, Patrisse Cullors. There's a number of women who, and they all come from
The term,
old radical kind of Marxist. Just one more thing. True communists in 1936 they wanted to come and overthrow America. This has been going on for a long time. We tried to export democracy. They tried to bring socialism into us. Clear. We do it by blowing your country up and rebuilding it, and they do it other ways. They came in, they wanted to propagate this message, and no white people came, but the poor black people came. And so they became very associated with Marxism and leftist ideas, and they were basically taken through into what is today is, I guess, the Democratic Party. And that's not working anymore because there's just strife and there's no real solutions. And even the first African-American president, not ADOS, didn't really deliver for them. So this election, this time right now, they're fucking with us because of this one thing. For their own power, left and right.
Is it a,
Oh man!
is it a,
That was an excellent joint I smoked earlier.
it's very good.
Oh,
Very
God.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is it possible that we're in this weird state with people because we've decided that we're losing power in other aspects of our life? So we're getting more and more determined to take it back in other places. Because the fact that so many people have been denied the ability to make a living. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what to think about it, but it seems to me that if I'm allowed to go to certain essential businesses with a mask on and no one's dying, I mean, if I'm going to a supermarket and everyone's wearing a mask, everybody seems okay, right? And scientists seem to think they're okay. Mm-hmm. Like, at what point in time do we allow that for everywhere? And at what point in time do we allow people to take chances? We allow people to flip dirt bikes. We allow people to fucking jump out of helicopters. We allow people to do all kinds of crazy shit. We allow people to wingsuit. Why don't we allow people to not wear a mask? Why don't we allow people to open up their business? Why don't we allow people to do whatever they want to do? Is it really the right? And the idea is, well, you have to protect the other people. I agree. You do have to protect the other people. But one of the things that's going to make the other people more vulnerable is the collapse of the economy. And we're not saying that for some reason. There's this weird thing where politicians want you to love them. And they want you to love them. So if you are leaning towards defunding the police and making sure that all the socialism ideas get accepted into major universities and it gets taught in the curriculum and grade school, if you drone on enough and the person who's running for mayor knows the only way that they can win is to embrace your ideas, they're going to fucking do it. Because we got a dirty system. It doesn't make any sense. And you should be able to vote from your phone, right? But you can't, right? So we got this weird, corrupted, fucking intertwined system that it's all voodoo.
Well, first of all, every country gets the government she deserves. The question is not why do we allow people to tell us what to do. It is why are we allowing them to actually tell us what to fucking do? Now seriously, we are afraid. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. This is a good one. It's one thing to say the plane might crash, the car might crash, you might get hit by a car, you might die of an overdose. It's another thing to say some other fucker without a mask might kill you, bitch. That's some real fucking fear, and that's not to be taken lightly. That is not to be and they have fucked with us over this. I don't care whether it's true or not or what's true or not. The cavalier nature of this shutdown and fear and colors and stages and numbers and charts and connecting it to the stock markets. I don't like that about President Trump at all. But see, he looks at what he calls the economy. I don't know if he's behind this digital dollar or not, but I think we're all going to be taken care of. The 10 million are going to be on a universal basic income, and that's going to happen. I'm not worried about that. But what are we left with, and just where do we go from there, is going to be the question. Because look, what is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's slogan? Do you know what their slogan is?
Brain damage in prison time?
Fuck, it should be. Build back better. So
that's pretty clever.
Okay. It's so clever that the same slogan is used by the United Nations, the Green New Deal organization, 350.org. Boris Johnson is using it as his campaign. Francois Macron using it as his campaign. Justin Trudeau, Build Back Better. This is a globalist plan.
Build Back Better.
This is a globalist plan. It means we're going to shut down all coal and gas and fracking, and we're going as much as possible with the transition to solar and wind.
Doesn't that sound like a good idea if it's feasible?
Yeah, I don't think it's feasible. But what is being promised with the Green New Deal is we will create good-paying green new jobs. Now, that's just a philosophy, whether you think it's good or not. Right now, I don't think so. But for sure, I know that Bill Gates, who's a big part of this Green New Deal, that he's investing in nuclear plants, because when the sun don't shine and the wind don't blow, you need some power, and it's going to come from his nuclear plants.
How does Bill Gates have any ambition left?
Oh, man. Maybe he's being blackmailed.
What do you think he knows?
No, I think he's being blackmailed with stuff he's done. I don't know for
he
sure.
Showed up without a sweater?
Allegedly. Yeah. Well,
someone's got a picture of him with a tank top on, doing the fucking most muscular.
Yeah, you can't. This is another thing, man. This whole Epstein business. This has gotten millennials.
What's that? Bill Gates meets with Jeffrey Epstein many times, despite his past.
So this has gotten everyone nuts. The kids are going like, that guy, and it's good though, because there's something there. Obviously, there's obviously something there. Obviously something there. Who the fuck knows what it is?
Wait a minute. Stop. You seem to be one of those guys who's really into conspiracies.
No.
Let me break this down.
Analyze them.
Let me break this down. There's no way there's anything more to what you're seeing in the news.
Oh, well,
when it comes to a story,
obviously.
excuse me, please, sir, about a man who traveled to Fuck Island with Bill Clinton 26
Oh,
times.
wait,
Did he
ding.
fly with Bill 26 times, or did he travel to
The
Fuck
government
Island?
just fined me. They just took the money straight out of my digital dollar
Oh,
wallet.
well,
Yeah,
that's
they just.
yeah, you thought you were fucking free with that flip phone. Son, you're connected to the internet.
This is what's so beautiful, man.
26 times.
You're in the universe. I'm in the universe.
Yes.
You know, Dave Rubin's in the universe. Ben Shapiro's in the
Yes.
universe. Alex Jones is in
Yes.
the universe. The people are. There's a whole new structure.
Yes.
We're out of control. We don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're gonna try and control all of us one
Yeah.
way or the other.
Yes.
But the internet, we pretty much have that. We got free reign, man.
We do, but we don't.
We got it.
We
Nah,
do-
we
we-
got so much.
We have a lot, but there's also a lot of censorship. I mean, there's
You
a lot
don't
of,
need any of that. You set up Mastodon. You got your own network. You don't social. You don't need
yeah,
any
but
of
let's
that.
be realistic.
When it
There's a
comes
lot of-
down to it, Joe.
for sure. But there's a lot of people that had prominent voices that are silenced.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're now very prominent in a much smaller circle. I'm prominent in a circle. It got bigger once I visited you, and I hope that yours got bigger as well. And the two can be completely unaware of each other, and crossovers happen, and the network starts to grow. It's a whole new way of communicating.
No, I understand that, and I agree.
I know you appreciate it.
I
that
do.
What's happening before that you're.
But there's
a
certain
part of.
people that just get banned forever from some social media platforms.
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
not
this
from
is-
other ones. That's my point.
Yeah, but in this environment, shouldn't we take into account, like, if you were going to ban someone, if you're going to, like, say, listen, there's a rational expectation that a person should be able to say your beliefs are not in line with theirs, they're going to kick you off this business that they own.
Sure.
As long as but when it gets to be YouTube and you got 31 million subscribers and how many hours?
500 hours a minute.
500 hours a minute.
Yeah.
It's such a pipeline. Like, you can't tell me you're really monitoring this thing correctly. It's not possible.
No, of course
right?
it's not. That's why
So-
everything has to be distributed. It has to break
But I
apart.
think there should be much more stringent rules on whether or not you can ban someone.
Oh, I so don't give a flying fuck about what Facebook or YouTube or Google do. It's so unimportant in the vast scale of what we can do.
I
with the
understand
network.
that, and I agree.
Okay.
But in the individual, the person who has the YouTube channel, who has earned this position
Yeah,
of
and
prominence
got screwed.
and got screwed, that's not fair.
No,
and it's
it's
not.
not
It's also
fair.
not rational that they could just do it. They don't have to go through a lengthy court proceeding.
Right.
They could just remove your
Okay,
income.
a couple of things. I believe on the commercial platforms that we're talking about in this case, the problem is the business model. Advertisers don't like controversy. Advertising has gone down drastically since the word coronavirus or COVID-19 was
Right.
blocked because they didn't want controversy. So that's the reason why these networks do it. I don't think yes, there's people who ban conservatives specifically, but that's because of the elite messaging system, the mainstream media, also the pharmaceutical industry, a lot of finance, is this message. So that's what advertisers want. Look at the pussies that the NBA are and Nike and how they kowtow to everybody. Yes, I said it. Look at how they kowtow and what they will and will not allow. So that's all money-based. Very capitalistic, by the way. That's totally cool. But now we go to the way you and I were raised. You're 50, you're 52?
53 now.
Yeah, I'm 56 tomorrow.
Basically halfway dead.
No,
I want to be 106.
I got it. I'm going to be 98. That's my target, 98. Yeah.
Why that number?
I don't know. Well, my grandparents both lived to 98, my paternal grandparents.
The reason why I brought up Gavin is that I think that I have had a couple podcasts with him, and people have had like weird conversations with me about it.
Sure,
And
yeah.
I've said, this is one of the things that I've said. I was like, look, that guy's mostly fun.
Yeah.
Mostly fun. And like
Yeah.
anybody that does wild shit, you can get lost in the woods. And if you get lost in the woods of race or whether or not people should be able to do drugs, or whether or not people should get paid a minimum wage that's a livable wage, you get lost in the woods in any ideology, and it becomes a problem.
Let's
And
go back-
for whatever reason. When someone shifts one way or another, and we conflict with those ideas, we never give anybody any room for just being a person. Most of the time, I've been around that guy. He's a nice guy.
Right, but let's go to the basics of how there's two things I was taught growing up. Sticks and stones will break my bones. Names will never hurt me. Secondary,
Okay.
I will
That
I may
shit
not
was created in the Depression.
Hold
Names
on.
are fucking terrible.
I
They're
don't-
so mean.
Exactly. And I can pinpoint when that happened too. So we had that, and then I don't like what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. These were the
Yes.
two core values that
That's
I
so
was
important.
raised with.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about with everybody, whether it's Alex
those
Jones,
were the core values.
Gavin McInnes, like-
and that is our constitutional deal.
yes.
That's the deal.
And this includes Louis Farrakhan. This includes
Yes,
everyone.
everybody.
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 Mitch O'Connell.
Everybody.
Tell me what you think, bro.
Exactly. Everybody.
Right? All of them. And this is so important. The moment we stop other people from expressing their opinions, first of all, we are coddling everybody else.
Stop.
We're trying to
this
pretend
is where
that
it
other,
happened.
but
This is
we're
where it
trying to
happened.
pretend that other people are dumber than us. Like I know that preacher's full of shit, but that I need to protect you, Adam Curry, because you might just give up your money for this one person because he needs a new jet.
Okay.
Right?
So this started about 6 years ago when hate speech came into the conversation.
Yeah.
And bullying became bullying laws, which I remember because we were doing the show, and I'm like, this is an actual First Amendment violation to create a law that says you can't say something mean about somebody else. That's bullshit. Now, it may not be nice, it may not be appropriate in the setting, it may not according to the school rules, but actual laws were created. So now we have hate speech and hate crimes, which is really undefinable, but it's all sadly all geared towards controlling what the fuck you can say.
Well, it's a natural human instinct when you have power to exert it.
Yeah.
It's natural.
Yeah.
It's why there's alphas
We're
and
too
betas.
good, man. We're nice fucking people, and we let us men be treated as doofuses in every single commercial, every TV show. Oh, sorry, honey, I got the wrong washing powder.
Do you know why we do that? Because we want to fuck. And we want...
I know. We got to get over that shit.
want the wife
we gotta
to calm
get
down.
over that
It's, I'm
shit.
sorry. I fucked
Once
up
you
the laundry.
once
I'm
you learn that
sorry.
woman is just as sex crazed as you are, she just has a different way of expressing it.
Yeah, but they like
Once
to
you
play a
figure
game,
that
Adam
out,
Curry.
and you play that game, and they play your game, and
Don't you
you're
know the game?
equal, and you're fucking equal, bro. And
Bro,
that's when
that's
sparks
no
fly. I
fun.
found that. I'm telling you, I found that with my wife. When that shit happens, and this is what is happening. This is what happened with Donald Trump. This is what I truly believe.
I agree with you, by the way.
happened.
I'm joking around.
No, I know you do. I know
do
you
agree
do.
with
I
you.
love that you give me shit because it makes it all coded, and people who are really listening will get it.
People are like, he's
know-
a supporter of Gavin McInnes. I'm a supporter of human beings.
They got triggered 2 hours ago.
I'm also a supporter of people that are radically left-wing that I don't
course.
agree with. I think a lot of them just need hugs. We need to be embraced by our community.
So,
And that we dig our heels in
Right.
and we fight against anyone that we think opposes our safety, our security, and our comfort, and our ability to feel loved and to be happy.
Here's where you, in particular, can change the world.
Jesus Christ.
I
Adam
want to
Curry.
lay it on you, bro. Yes, you can change the world.
Fucking Podfather.
And just by
the
being-
way, shout out
That is good
to
stuff.
Texas
That is
Silver
good
Star Whiskey. Yeehaw, motherfucker.
That's very good.
It's good shit. It's very smooth. What can I do to save the world?
So
I feel like I'm in a Watchmen movie.
before all exactly before
Cheers.
all this BLM stuff came in, it was male toxic masculinity, and a lot of it, of course, Me Too, and a lot of it absolutely right, and there's a lot of that bullshit. But
Yeah.
we let them cut our gonads off, and we need to stand up a little bit. Not that women can't do what we need to do right now, which is
Right.
take control of the fucking situation in more ways than one, but we need to help shepherd them. I know a lot of badass women, so do you, who could fuck anything and anybody up, and they're great, and they could be great leaders. But we need to shepherd the whole civilization of men and women, in particular men with their families, particularly in ADOS. That's where we need to see this happen. And that's why Trump is going to probably sweep the election with a male black vote who are sick of this shit. And they see it, and their gonads dropped. They went, you know what? Fuck yeah. And so this is not a bad thing. This is very, very good. It's very good. it's controversial, I'm sure, because people just don't like to hear that. And I'm like you, man. LGBTQIA PK+. I know the whole fucking acronym forwards and backwards. I grew up in Amsterdam. Hello, but I'm anti-war. I don't like spending like a motherfucker with the government. I don't want a digital dollar, but I do want love and peace and everything that we can have. I got this
It doesn't have to be either or, right? It doesn't have to be either
why?
or. It's silly.
I vote across the board. I'm like, oh, that guy, her, here in Austin, no matter who's up there, I'm against them.
The kind of prejudice that I receive is so minimal. It's,
really?
It's offensive if you discuss it. But
Really?
But one prejudice that I've always encountered is that I'm a bro.
What the fuck is that?
It's valid. It's the thing. If I was someone who wasn't a bro and I saw me, I'd be like, that guy's a bro. It's not bad that they look at it that way.
No.
In a sense, it's their job. If you're gonna mock the opposing idea,
Yeah.
and the opposing idea is easily mockable,
Yeah.
as am I.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're supposed to do it.
It's mean.
It doesn't feel mean.
It's no,
I
but it
understand.
is. It is. It's mean.
It doesn't feel mean. I'm okay.
Okay.
I just work out a lot. I go through it all. Like whatever they're throwing at me, I burn it off. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel mean.
Yeah.
Because I was them. I've been that person who was disenfranchised and lonely and disconnected and didn't have like real close friends and didn't have a real like community where I could say I'm protected. I'm connected. I didn't have that. So I understand all sorts of weird, unnecessary anger that people have. But my perspective is we have to look at the world that we exist in currently as a series of pipelines to your consciousness. And you have to limit the amount of entries because there's only a certain amount of bandwidth that you have to managing life. And if you have a thing you love, whether that thing is you are a songwriter and a singer and you have these thoughts, these emotions that you wish you could figure out a way where other people could see the beauty in your perspective and to put it through a song that rhymes with the perfect notes on a guitar and just get into someone's consciousness and make them feel better. You want to do that, right? And this is what it is to be a person.
This is a lot of kids, 20 to 30, I just call them kids, are doing this now. They're disconnecting,
so.
They're unhooking, they're getting flip phones, they got no cable subscription, and this
That's
is
'cause they're poor,
This
Adam
is the
Curry.
best. No,
It's income
this
disparity.
Is the best.
You have to eat the rich.
I know several homeless guys, and they all have phones, and they got data plans, and it's no problem. You can be
Well, in
homeless in
Texas, you
America
can
with a
camp.
smartphone.
In LA, that's a real problem. You can camp.
It's the same here right now.
Minnesota doesn't have a whole lot of homeless people that make it in the winter.
No.
It's too hard out there. You got to get a job.
No, this is a dumb idea, the way Austin went about this.
Austin's not the worst. LA's way dumber. LA's preposterous.
It's so sad what has happened to all of California.
LA has
So sad.
Boulder, Colorado inside of it.
Yeah.
But homeless
yeah,
people.
homeless, yeah.
I mean, they don't even know what the numbers
Yeah.
are. They were 70,000 when the economy was booming.
Yeah. Yeah.
When the economy
crazy.
was at its peak a couple of
crazy.
years ago,
Yeah.
there was 70,000 homeless people in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
What's the current estimate?
But I think we talked about this before, that the primary cause of homelessness is catastrophic loss of family.
There's that, but there's
That-
also drug addiction.
But
I would
that
argue
comes
that,
along with it.
yeah, maybe a lot of people are abused. There's a lot of factors, but I think a severe perturbance of your development emotionally, psychologically,
Yes.
as a child contributes greatly to you being a homeless person.
Even
And
drug
also-
users are a community.
Yes.
So then they
Indeed.
have their own community of drug use and scoring and whatever else.
I
So
was
that's
under
still a
the-
community.
I was under the bridge once, one of them underpasses that was a campground, and I was looking at these dudes just hanging out, talking to each other. I'm like, if you didn't have nothing, this might be a better place to be.
I want
know?
to take you to Community First Village here, just a little bit outside of
You
Austin.
trying to give me tuberculosis or some other sort of
Yeah.
What
It'll
diseases
it'll
do
blow,
they
it'll
have?
blow your mind when you see this.
Typhus.
This is just small, tiny homes.
Okay.
This is a nonprofit that set it up, and they're getting people back on their feet in their community, in their own community. There's no policing. It's really magical what's happening there.
This was my reason why I thought that universal basic income is a good idea. What I thought of is not an impossible, like you could live off of it sort of, but it's a struggle. Just enough so you can get
Yeah.
by.
That's the idea.
So
that's
just
the idea.
give people just say, listen, there's something wrong if bankers can make $1 trillion a month, like whatever the fuck the number is. There's something wrong. Like, how about we do this? Let's figure out a way to organize taxes so that just people get enough so that no one in America has to starve to death. If we were kind people who are truly patriotic, the number one goal would be no one who lives in America should starve to death, right?
Correct.
That's number one. And then from there, we move on to other things.
Right.
That's a good way to start.
And I'm here to tell you again, it's coming. And I think the number will be $2,400 to $2,500 a month. And anyone who has or is making less than $75,000 will get that.
That's ridiculous.
It's going to happen.
But if you make more than 50 grand a year, shouldn't you be on your own? Like, listen, bro, like help the system out, disconnect.
You want to try living in Austin on 50 grand a year?
I like tent living.
Yeah.
have
Well,
one of them
okay.
fans,
You're
I
in.
buy batteries.
You're in. You're in. You're in. Well, in that case, you're in.
No, you're right. But what I'm saying is, we don't want people starving to death.
No.
We don't want people ever being in a situation where they don't know where they're going to get shelter.
Okay, so
or where
here's,
we're gonna
here's
get
another.
food. But hold on. But is the situation where it's at because of unintended, uncontrollable circumstances like COVID, where everybody's like, "What the fuck? Who would have told you need to have a year's supply of money and food?"
No.
Nobody would have told you that, right?
No, it's
but
our-
that's where we are now.
it's our
So you can't
mentality.
blame those people.
It's our mentality which went away from true community, helping each other. Often that was situated around a church. That's why, we have nuns still, the kind of where the hospital services, all kinds of services, barter services with the butcher if you only had wheat, etc. And we've moved towards this man in the middle. Hey, my fucking neighbor's an asshole. We don't go over anymore and talk to the neighbor and say, bro, can we talk? No. Hello, 911, my neighbor's being an asshole. Everything we have a goddamn middleman for. That is our own fault. We need to realize that we do need to communicate peer-to-peer at some point to have... You can't have a community if you're only talking through lawyers and
That's
and
true.
meetings and
But
bullshit.
every now and then you get a neighbor like Rand Paul's neighbor, fucking tackles you and breaks your ribs. What do?
Yeah, that can happen.
What do you do with that guy? You need to have someone you can call.
No, I'm not against that. I'm
Okay.
just saying, but so that neighbor, he didn't call the police and say Rand Paul's a fucking right-wing racist or whatever. He went over there and beat his ass. And that's sad,
Well,
but Rand Paul should have shot his ass.
Well, no.
Yes.
He attacked him from behind.
Yes. Yeah.
Took him down from behind
Yeah.
and broke his ribs.
Regardless.
He should have shot him later.
You get my point that everything here, every COVID sneeze has a lawyer attached to it. Everything's a fucking
Right.
legal
I
affair.
understand.
We're always I'm sure in all deals you've done, there's a manager and lawyers and accountants and the motherfucker goes down the line. And if you know, if I could just sit with the guy for 2 minutes, like, bro, let's do this right now.
Entanglements. Things get
It's the way of the world, man.
deeper
It's
and
the way
deeper,
of the
Adam
world.
Curry.
No, that's what's so beautiful about life. And this is a great time.
Well,
a
it is
great time to
beautiful
be a
about life.
podcaster.
It's beautiful about life because all of these things that have happened, whether it's the internet or the electric car or anything, you can air travel. It's someone competing against other people that are also formulating similar ideas. I mean, this is just what we've had. And what we're experiencing today is a massive moment of chaos, which in my personal life has always been followed by a great growth.
Yes.
Always.
Yes. Yeah.
Because in
definitely.
my personal life, and I believe in the microcosm and I believe in the macrocosm. And I believe there's a situation where a thing that you feel that if you can express it the right way, it resonates with people and it can help everybody. I really do believe that.
Yes.
I think it's part of one of the
Yes.
more fascinating things about the way we feel when other human beings express themselves, whether it's a speech to a graduating class, you know, whether it's a book that you wrote or a film that you made. There's something that people do that makes other people feel a certain way, and we recognize it when we're creating it. And what those things are, those moments of energy, we're all come together in excitement. We can maximize those. We can have more of them instead of being in conflict over fucking whether or not Ellen DeGeneres is a bitch.
And
like let's figure out a way to be just be nice. There's better feelings for yourself and for the community and for all around you by just putting your energy into positive things, putting your energy into things that are beneficial. It's easy to attack. It's easy.
Now, you're global, which makes it so great. This is happening in every country around the world. Black Lives Matter, racial strife, racial division, very different story than us. It's in the UK, it's in the Netherlands. Everybody has some story, but it's all different. They should not have the same guilt maybe that we should have, but it's being used as a wedge to divide people. And I think that we have enough platforms and enough reach to let people know that figure it out, go look around, but you're definitely being manipulated. And the whole idea is not to have that happen, what you just said. And we have the means. We don't need to go through every mainstream Silicon Valley company to communicate with each other. So that is there for us at the taking. We just have to do it. It's that simple. We have all this power. We're just not using it yet.
But there's always conflict between human beings.
Of course.
And there always will be, because there's desirable mating outcomes, and there's
Yell all you want at each other online.
Yeah.
Yell all you
Yeah.
want. That's great. I hope we find places, and there are many already, for people to go yell without anyone intervening or taking down. Just let them yell. Let them yell. Let them yell. Let them yell. It's good. Let it all out. Taking someone away is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's short-sighted and stupid for short-term capital
This is
gain.
what I'm talking about in terms of censoring people online. I think it actually has unintended consequences of bolstering up the other side.
Of course it does.
Because it makes them
Of
look like
course it
the
does.
people on the right now look at the people on the left as being unreasonable, unwilling to
Yes.
talk,
Yes.
and they've
Yes.
banned this person
Yes.
from
Yes.
Facebook and
Yes.
YouTube.
Yes. So now I get to go back to my America Online analogy, because it's inevitable. This is what always happens. America Online was a closed system, and the internet was out here. And everyone on AOL, I'm sure you were on there like, oh, cool chat rooms.
Not me, bro.
Yeah, you were looking up conspiracy theories. Shut up, Rogan. I know what you were doing. You were in
UFOs.
conspiracy. Meanwhile, we're on the free internet going, alt.conspiracy.alien probe in my anus. And we're like, whoa, and I got a picture of it and all this. And so we're having a good time. And kids on the AOL went, hey, AOL, we want to access the internet, man. We want the fucking internet, because that's where the danger is. That's where the cool stuff is. And they finally opened up a little portal. Okay, here's your browser, and everybody was gone. And AOL became a dial-up access service, because everybody wants...
Do you remember this?
We want the... Yes, man, I was a part of this shit.
Ready for this?
Yeah.
You've got mail. Pretty good, right?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Solid.
So-
it's always a dude telling you you've got mail. That's your boss.
So
Right? It's not a Chinese lady.
That's where it's always going to be at, my friend. It's always going to be the dangerous outside. That's where I like to live and thrive.
Well, there's always going to be the tip of progress, and everything else underneath it is
Yeah.
going to be. But the question is, who's right? When you see these people in Portland that are fucking burning trash in the lobby of the mayor's apartment complex, are they right? When they're holding up a fucking a big sheet that says resign, are they right?
I don't mind about this big sheet with resign. You can't be making fire. That's not okay. That's not
It's
okay.
not okay. You could kill all those people.
No, you
like
can't
if you
kill
lit that,
anybody.
if they
No.
threw that fire in and they didn't know that the floor was plastic,
No, that, of
and the
course it's not
plastic
okay.
took
That's
off
not okay.
like instantly and burned the
No.
whole, and everybody in this.
No.
How many fucking? I think there's like 1,200
Well,
units or
the
something.
good news is this shit is starting to end, because
Is it?
Joe Biden campaign realized that this was not good for their numbers, and so now they're out saying, "No, you should stop rioting, stop rioting."
It's a real danger that they.
Yeah.
I
It may not be maybe out. We have a problem, and just so people, I think you know it inherently, but no federal troops can go into Portland or any other place without it being requested. It's very important in our structure. We don't have a Stasi system, so you can come in and fucking kick everyone's ass.
You have to get requests.
Yeah, you got someone's going, hey, I need your help. Come on in, feds.
Yeah.
That's what it's for. Federal government is very unimportant, really, in the overall scheme. It's supposed to be, but we. Good people of America have let it come pretty far with going back
Can
to
we
what it's
pause
supposed to
on
be.
this? I gotta pee
You gotta
so
pee?
bad.
Oh,
Can we
man.
hold this, Jamie?
Yeah.
You need to pee?
Yes.
Let's do this.
All right.
We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. First ever
No, it's not the first.
podcast from Austin,
We're back. We're done.
and we're back.
That was wonderful.
I'm here because of you. I said that at the beginning,
Yes.
but it is true.
Now, I want to know about your other plans. So, Tina, the keeper, my wife, and I, we've been catching up on a little Joe Rogan history. We've been watching your stand-ups during the shutdown. You, my friend, are one funny motherfucker. And you do physical shit, and you're so on, and it's just, where are you going to use this creative energy, this side of you, in the world? I mean, what's the plan? Where does this go? What do you do as a comic? Because I know that I know you're a podcaster, and obviously you're changing the world. But I know that your core passion is that.
I love stand-up, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important to just be a person. And if you, I did one comedy date during the pandemic. I did the Houston Improv. I did it with my friend Brian Moses, and I did it with my friend Tony Hinchcliffe. We had a great fucking time. I met Willie D from the Ghetto Boys. Dan Crenshaw came down. We had a good time. But at the end of the day, I was like, damn, I don't want to catch it and give it to somebody I care about. Like,
Right.
I'm
'Cause
if
you're
I
fucking
knew-
human.
Right.
Yeah,
If
no, I
I
get it.
knew that I couldn't ever give it to somebody,
Right.
I could only get it myself, I'd have a different perspective.
Yeah.
And I'd probably be a
Well,
little...
I think you've already adjusted your risk profile. I mean,
Yeah.
yesterday when I was here, I got the antibody test
Mm-hmm.
and everything. Still hurts.
Does it? Damn.
Well,
man.
I use this finger a lot, apparently. It's trigger finger. I use it for mouse clicks. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck,
Sensitive.
little thing there. But right away, even without even waiting for the results, you're like, nah, bro, you don't have it. You're good.
Listen,
Which is
if
appropriate.
you're
which is
not
appropriate.
unhealthy, we've always taken, this is the view of people we've always taken. If you look healthy and you feel healthy, you're probably healthy.
Yeah, yeah.
This is what we...
It's crazy to think
It's-
it that way, isn't it? Yeah.
Instead, now we're like, you
Yeah.
might have it.
Yeah.
But it's understandable because when it did emerge on North America, we thought it was going to be like the plague. We thought it was going to be
course.
like the Spanish
we
flu.
were shown models
and
and everything.
they might have
Yeah,
been right and they might have been
absolutely.
wrong. Fortunately, they were wrong. But
Yes.
this idea that it's a conspiracy, I'm not buying it, man.
But hold on.
All of it, I think it's
That doesn't
more than
matter.
anything. There are people that take advantage of moments
Hmm.
of things that happen,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also like people just panic and make good moves and bad moves, and they don't necessarily have to make sense in retrospect.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the right call in terms of like what we thought, the COVID-19 was going to be for this country, but they thought it was going to be way worse. And if they were wrong, and it was way worse, it would have been horrific.
So what is the mechanism where the people in every country can communicate this back in a manner to the people who we've chosen to represent us,
That's not offensive.
to take it into account that
Right.
this is how we feel and we need some change. There were protests in Trafalgar Square, the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin, and in Switzerland, Zurich, and they were completely peaceful. Nobody with masks, just saying, "Hey, we want out. We want." Now we have here other problems. Going out is now an issue because of rioting and protesting. But in general, people around the world are starting to say, "We don't like this," and they're trying to communicate it. We are the only fuckers who have the guns to back it up.
Right.
That's what's interesting right now. Because that's also what they're for. That's also what the Second Amendment is about, is to, in my mind, to protect the First Amendment, but also like, hey, all the people here, don't want this, and we're kind of willing to back it up, so here we are with our stuff.
Yeah, it's such a strange perspective.
It's medieval, Joe, but here we are. We haven't done we haven't learned our history. We haven't looked at it properly.
Did
We're
you see the
repeating
video
mistakes.
of what happened in Portland when that guy got
Yeah, I
murdered
did.
on the
Yeah,
street?
of course.
I mean, it's like basic tribal war. One guy sprays mace, the other guy shoots a gun.
My buddy Mo, he says, "This is a civil war between white people. We're stepping the fuck back." And he's right, man. He's
Yes,
right. He's
yes,
right.
it's
But
true.
but now more than ever, we need to get together with our ADOS brothers and sisters and say, "Stop. This is bullshit. This is not the real problem here. Stop it now."
Well, anytime you have an open group that anyone can join,
yeah, it's hard.
you're gonna get
It's
people
fucking hard.
that do the dumbest shit to get to the front of the line, at the top of the heap.
Yeah, but we
Doesn't necessarily jive with the ideas of the rest of the
Our
organization.
children have been over-socialized. They've been made to be afraid of everything they say. Can't make a joke about Christians. Can't make a joke about Jews. Can't make a joke about gay, lesbian, transgender. Can't make a joke about... Can't even slip up on one little thing. Forget race. Are you doing the work, Joe Rogan? You've got to read the book.
Which book?
That's White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo, the biggest perpetrator of this crap I've
I
ever
didn't
heard
read
of.
that, but I read Matt Taibbi's response.
Spot on. Taibbi is a legend.
He's a legend.
I pay for his content. I'll pay him $40
I'll
a
pay
month.
him.
I'll pay him $400 a month.
Yeah.
That guy is doing the work.
I legitimately
real
feel
way.
he's one of the most important journalists.
The only guy who
we have
reported on the
alive.
Wall Street 2008, and he had to go and learn how all this intricate shit worked.
Yeah, he's
Fucking great.
He's a real representative of his honest opinions, and that's rare.
A journalist.
That's the problem.
A
is that
journalist.
It's because we've gotten hooked into these systems, whether it's right or left or whatever it is, where your vested interest is in agreeing with whatever the people on your side think and say. It's just real dangerous for people. It's just not how we operate.
Well,
best.
there's another problem, and that is what we all used to see was the typical local news. You see your, Today Show on
Yeah.
NBC. They break in with the local weather, and the message. What we saw in Wisconsin is we saw a struggle. We saw cops walking behind a guy. We saw the guy trying to get into his car. The cop pulling him back, shooting. We saw that. What is distilled down to the Today Show local level is unarmed black man shot by cops while getting into car.
right.
I don't care what happened. You can't present that as the facts that we've seen. That's bullshit. So either don't do it or show it, or maybe just wait until we have some information, because that is setting a biased message. And by the way, Fox News just as complicit on all sides of this. Who the fuck knows who's running that show?
It should be something along the lines of police shoot man.
Yeah, thank you. That would be a good starter.
Yeah, but is it that we have this expectation for whether it's Reuters or CNN or whatever, for them to be
Authoritative.
perfect,
Yeah,
perfect,
yeah.
perfect? This is
Well,
what happened.
Turns out, no.
Yeah, the problem isn't
Turns
the
out,
problem.
no.
There's money involved, and if they can say police shoot black man, unarmed black man, that's worth more money.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a real.
yeah.
Is that a consideration? Do you think when they write headlines?
Yes, completely. I just read the other day.
For sure.
Texas mandates vaccines for all school children. I'm like, all right, let me take a look. Blah, 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 blah. Of course, Texas has conscientious objections. Like, give me a fucking break.
Is that like naturopathicnews.com? Like
No,
who published
no,
that?
that was like mainstream.
Really?
Yeah, mainstream. Like an affiliate of Reuters or whatever. Yeah,
That's the
for sure,
problem. Is
for
that,
sure.
like, I know that everybody thinks they're fighting a good fight. I really do believe that.
Of course we do. That's
so
what makes us
easy.
so great.
But it's the thing about people. It's so easy for us to accept one ideology
Yeah.
versus another.
Well, we just have to remember one thing. And this is the thing that's most shocking. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to be angry with each other. Were you just looking at Jamie's ass?
He was going into the TriCaster. I was
Kind of
panicking.
looked like you were.
fine. I was
like to make sure his back's okay.
All right,
Jamie
this-
broke his ass, and I feel
Really?
responsible.
Really,
We had
really
those-
broke his ass?
Yeah, we had those hoverboards.
I almost broke my ass, too.
And Jamie was filming it,
Yeah.
and the hoverboard went left, and he went right, and he landed on his
On-
Jamie.
On your hoverboard?
Care to explain?
On the
On
corner?
his
yeah,
butt bone?
I have to only assume that's what caused it, but the actual like injury didn't come for like 10 months after that. So
Really?
like, yeah,
It was a fracture, an actual broken ass?
I think I didn't get an X-ray, but there was a bone that
Yeah.
was not where it was supposed to be that caused a litany of problems up and down the side of my body.
A bone that wasn't where it was supposed to be?
Yeah, some little bone in the part of your hip that like it's
Did it
back
break
now.
off, or
no,
did-
it's like it was just like was adjusted in a weird spot. Like if I feel it now, it doesn't feel like it used to.
Oh, wow.
Like I can hear clicks
That's
and
the
pops when I
craziest
like
thing
stretch
about
and stuff. but-
chiropractic shit, right? It's like, even though it has a wacky beginning, what if the dude was accidentally right?
And I still hear it like right now. I have weird, crazy pops in my neck that like hurt sometimes, but
Right?
I don't know if a chiropractor could fix it.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you hear the story of like how what was the woman that wrote chiropractors are bullshit?
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
Was it
You
Yvette?
know, there's a guy who is a producer of my show, and he's like, I really want you to give this to Joe. He's all about chiropractic, and apparently you're against that, or you don't believe in it, or whatever. It's like, and he's like, dude, I just wanted Joe to see it, and this is one guy he could talk to, and it's very interesting because I don't know anything about the controversy, whatever. It's just very interesting.
Who wrote it, Jamie? Yeah, Yvette. Yeah, I knew. I just didn't want to fuck up her last
don't know
name.
how to say it either.
D'Entremont.
Uh-huh.
She was a guest on the podcast,
Uh-huh.
and she researched chiropractic
Oh,
medicine.
okay.
It was
I didn't know this.
Created by a dude who was a magnetic healer, and he was killed by his son. Ran him over with a car. Took over the business.
Okay.
And started promoting the idea that,
With
that
magnets?
adjusting people's backs to fix like fucking leukemia and shit.
Oh, I don't know about all that.
Blindness
I don't know
and
about all that.
like, you just pop people's back. It was
right.
lunacy. But I think, what if maybe they were on to something accidentally? Like, it is possible.
Well, that's like my applied kinesiology, which you don't believe in.
What is that?
And I've been going to
You
this
sure I don't believe in it?
because we talked about it after the show
I might have
last time.
changed my mind.
Okay, well, and by the way, when you called 2 days after the show, that was a thrill. I'm like, holy shit, Joe fucking Rogan just called me. You texted? No, you called me. You called me.
It
That was
bothers,
really
it bothers me that it's a thrill. Like,
no. That was like because I remember like, I really connected with you. It was cool.
We did,
We
we
had a
did.
good connection. I like
and
that.
I really do appreciate you as being your patient zero. You really are. You're the guy who started this whole thing. 100%. There's no one else who deserves the credit. It's you.
Thank you.
And you're also an interesting guy because you've always had an analytical view of anything, whatever problems there are, technological, political. You look at it, and when I listen to your podcast, I'm like, this guy's thinking about what's going on here. Is this happening? Is that happening? You're not committed to any one
No.
cleanly grooved path.
No. Like you, I have a lot of people who I'm connected to. And particularly because of the show, you are connected to some of the most amazing minds that are out there. And you suck that up.
It's crazy.
You suck it up. It's true. You memorize stuff. I have the same thing. You memorize stuff like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And you can weigh that. But ultimately, I don't think either of us really come from any, like, I really want it to be like this or that. I don't know.
It's just
Well, I don't think
pure
so.
luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pure luck. And what
Yeah.
the fuck is this?
But this is a crazy, crazy time. We are so connected. There's so many impulses, so many signals, so much happening.
Mayor of Portland, get out of that fucking apartment building. They know where you're
That's-
sleeping, bro. There's 1,000 other people sleeping in that building. Get out of
There's
there.
a good chance all of that ends November 4th. You know, a good chance a lot of things end
but
November 4th.
It's September.
Yeah.
They're going to light that guy's place on fire.
But doesn't that kind of show that it's out of control? Something has to happen.
What if the reason why all this shit is going on up there?
It's just a little
'cause
piece of what's
everyone's-
going on in the world.
Everyone's
Joe.
depressed. It's like a big old Twilight movie. It's
I
all
got
up,
my-
getting rained on and shit.
My buddy,
Jamie?
he used to be my assistant back at MTV. He was the VJ, VJ coordinator, Ken, And he took this all, and I love Ken to death. He took it hook, line, and sinker. And he and his husband haven't seen another human being for 4 or 5 months. They've nothing came in, nothing came out. All he knows is that Trump has sent in goons to go and create a problem in downtown Portland. There's a lack of real information for a lot of people.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's a lack of information. And it's just, and I'm not saying one way or the other, but look, all I know, I'm seeing President Trump doing some very interesting shit. And he's standing in the middle of things I've thought have been a problem for a long time. The media, for sure, he calls it fake news. The pharmaceutical industry, a lot of bullshit. He's sitting right there going, this is bullshit. And while he's still making a lot of interesting thing happen that I don't think is good, he's also removed the pharmacy benefit managers, so actually the prices will actually come down. He's deregulated insurance so you can do it across state lines. These are all things that I think are very, very good. He's standing in the middle of the military-industrial complex saying it's the fucking military-industrial complex. They want war. I'm here to keep that shit down. We'll sell our stuff. Those things I like a lot. The problem is his persona, which is what, you know, these people, you've been around very successful people. A lot of them are illiterate, can't even write a fucking email, but they're incredibly wealthy and successful because they have.
Use you are.
Excuse me?
You are instead of your. That's an issue. When someone really smart,
Yeah.
they send you an email that
So
says
these,
you are instead of
these
why
incredibly,
you are
these
or why are you.
yeah, or there with EI.
Yeah.
So these people, the elites of the world, which is really
I don't know
the
if they're
problem.
illiterate.
Yeah.
Are we
They will
underestimating
tolerate a Donald Trump at their party because he's rich and he's important to them. But when it really comes down to it, he's not part of us. So that's the problem. You've seen this.
Right, but isn't that just human nature?
Yes, I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
not, but
I
let's
mean,
not.
they do that
let's
with
just
everything.
recognize it and move on. Let's just recognize
How do we
it.
do that, Adam Curry?
By doing this podcast, Joe Rogan. We are the world. We are the children. We're going to make that shit happen.
We can help.
Yeah, I think just by being men, giving a male perspective, doesn't matter which guest you bring yourself, and that's important. That's why are people attracted to you? Why? Besides you being very handsome. Why?
So I'm wearing my wife's shirt.
Yeah, whatever.
Stole this from
You
her.
got a beautiful family, man.
She had this Elva shirt on.
That's a good
That's
one.
mine, bitch. I didn't say bitch. If I did, she would know I'm joking.
Of course you would.
Dude, I think we're in a weird stage as human beings. I really believe this. And that we have this battles going on between people and all sorts of ideologies and perspectives. And some of them are real valid, right? Like police shooting people they shouldn't shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Real valid. Mm-hmm. And then you see videos of them not shooting white people that maybe they should have shot. You know, it's like you see those things, you're like, hey, what the fuck is going on? Especially if that's all you see. If you're a young black man, all you see is videos of cops shooting black guys and not shooting white guys. If someone just shows you 3 or 4 of those in a row, and you have a job and a family, and you don't have time to be researching shit, how do you know if that's representative of the whole world or not? Doesn't even if it isn't representative, isn't it offensive as a singular event in the history of people where someone gets shot just because of what they look like, right? We all agree with that.
Of course.
The problem with that, more than anything, is how it divides us and how we look at each other. We're supposed to look at each other as the same. We're supposed to look at each other as just people.
Yeah.
And anything that takes us off that line, whether it's male, female, gay, straight, black, white, privileged, non-privileged, we got to let that go.
Everybody has to stop themselves and think about how you're thinking. What is making you respond?
Yes.
What is it about you or your personal history that is making you respond in a very responsive, reactive, sometimes violent manner? It doesn't matter who you are. And we all have abuse, we have situations, we have pain, and this is being triggered every single day by very simple things that we can easily be triggered about because it's accepted.
Yeah.
But I have all kinds of issues that you can say something to me and it'll trigger me. I'm sure you have them too. And only after you've been around for a while, like, now we're half a century, we've seen some shit go down, do you realize, oh man, we should let these other people, these younger people know that, you got to look at yourself. Why are you being triggered like this?
Well, we also have to realize that we're in a biological mosh pit.
Big time.
Big time.
Big
It's
time.
a mosh pit.
Yeah.
And it's not just in terms of our genes, but it's also our ideas. There's all this this battling going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just how, I remember I watched this documentary on the Congo once, and they realized it was a BBC documentary. It was amazing. And they realized that certain spiders had formed packs. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh my God, dude! Like a fucking deer would run into this spider web and be like, "What's this?"
Yeah.
They would,
We can learn
like
so much. We
hundreds
can
of
learn so
spiders.
much from looking at our environment around us.
They figured out how to work together.
How to work together,
They
yeah.
work in packs.
Yeah.
And I remember
Yeah.
thinking that I'm like, this is all madness.
So-
it's all a battle for the top of the heap.
But I think it's important to restate that we're all in our individual webs. We're in in the Instagram web and the Twitter
Yes.
web. There
Yes.
are other places where we spiders can come together with groups of other spiders and create our own web
Yes.
that grows. And it may be
This is
Parlor,
it.
maybe Parlor is bullshit, maybe Mastodon is bullshit, but collectively, it all means that's cool.
This is a
Holy
minor
crap.
version of it.
Holy
There's
crap.
a BBC Congo one where it's like a real musty looking,
Oh yeah.
cobwebby looking
Oh, my God,
web,
yeah.
and they all work together and they jack birds and shit.
Oh yeah. Totally.
Oh my God.
So we can do that too. And what is the internet? It is a web. It is a web of servers and computers and phones and watches, and we can control a lot of it ourselves. We can.
But this is my thought, Adam Curry. When I look
Mm-hmm.
at something like that, I'm like, that's just what goes down if you let it. If you let groups overcome, they get together.
Well, I see that differently. Oh no, I see us as humanity being able to build a web collectively, and in that we catch all the fuckers that we're done with, who've kept us apart. We can
Spiders don't give a fuck who they catch. They catch birds, bro. Tweety birds.
Well, maybe that isn't that socialism. They all catch one bird and they eat it.
I don't
Yes.
think so. I think
Yes,
they
of
just.
course
I
it
think they
is.
eat each other eventually, like
Anyway.
female black widows.
Anyway.
they kill the male.
There's many ways to connect and organize through the internet. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be stupid things that are apps and bullshit. It just doesn't have to be that way.
No.
And eventually, someone's going to realize it, and it'll become cool, and it'll become the internet of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And then people will want to go there. That's how it works.
For sure. All I'm thinking is that
I need
there's
a
a
little bit more there, Joe.
there's a
That is some good stuff.
It is, right? There's a way that we can
you.
look at all this in terms of like minimizing conflict as a priority. And I don't think it's necessarily
Well, we
a
ain't got
priority.
conflict, but
Minimizing
we
conflict
don't
as
have
a
to
priority.
hurt each other. We don't.
Yeah,
Have to,
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. And there's something that we have to make an acknowledgement that we're all the same, that we're on the same team. And I don't think people feel like we are right now. I think this is how the right feels when you ban people, even if they say ridiculous shit. If it's ridiculous to you, and I get it, you feel it's ridiculous, good. Why do you want to protect other people from something that you immediately recognize as ridiculous?
And that's the moment when you need to ask, why am I responding to this? Why do I feel the need to say this? And that's because
it is
of
that,
deep
but
triggers.
it's also the deep concern that the people that are doing this are going to affect people and change their perspective and make people believe something that's not true, and it'll change the course of history or what have
Okay, well, that's just
But
fucking
they-
ridiculous. You got to stop that shit.
It's not necessarily wrong though, right? Because it
No.
did work with Hitler.
No.
but the
No.
the
No.
real answer is not stop that person.
No,
the
of
real
course
answer is
not.
come up with a much
A better idea.
rebuttal.
Yes.
a better rebuttal. You lazy fucks.
Exactly. Convince me with whatever you got.
You
And
can't
there's a
ban
lot of
people.
that going on. But when we let
There-
ourselves be tied to some fucking digital overlords, we'll always be disappointed.
Which brings us back to things that were deleted from Facebook and
Yes,
YouTube
exactly.
when it comes
Fuck
to this
that. You
pandemic.
Don't,
Whether
you
or not they're
don't
right
need
or
to
wrong.
go through that. There's many different systems out there.
You shouldn't
It's-
be able to do that so easily. It should be somehow or another voted upon. Like if
Well, how
someone-
about Who cares? How about just we have a place that we go that everyone just kind of pays for their little bit, their little group, and this exists. It's been around for 15 years. People will come. They're gonna get tired of this shit. If all the opposition voices are gone, what are you gonna do?
Blaze
Circle
TV
jerk?
tomorrow. Adam Curry comes out as communist.
Fuck you. No, this is.
Woo!
I'm right. I'm right about this.
No,
I can
well,
see the
I think
writing
you
on the
have a
wall.
you have a very strong opinion about something where you might be correct.
I'm just jumping ahead.
Yeah,
exactly.
you might be correct.
I might be wrong. I might be full of shit.
You have
but
a good
I'm
point,
jumping
though.
ahead. I'm jumping ahead. I can see where it has to go. Jack Dorsey's even talking about
Mm-hmm.
decentralizing and perhaps federating different social networks. He understands.
People need to cut that dude some slack too. Jack Dorsey is like we were so tribal. God damn, we're
He
so
is
tribal.
very conflicted because
He's
he
very
has to deal
conflicted.
with his income, his shareholders, his board members.
Right.
He can't have conflict beyond certain realms, which are determined by a certain group of ideas that just run certain shit.
He was one of the.
It's all advertising. We're fucking a-holes. You just pay a little bit of. I'd pay for your show. I'd pay for your show. I'm gonna
Jesus
pay for.
Christ,
I'm
you're
gonna pay
scaring
for
me.
your show. I'm gonna pay for your show because I like your show. It's worth it to me. The only thing is, if you had asked me how much, I would have paid you much more than it's actually going to cost me at Spotify. But that's up to you, my brother. I love you. I love you.
When I see someone like whether it's Jack Dorsey or even Zuckerberg, like anybody who's put into a position that no human being has been responsible for.
It's impossible.
ever. They've never been responsible for
no.
media empires that connect uncounted people.
And shame on us for expecting anything interesting or innovative out of that whole group, including the Congress. Shame on us. We created this shit. We knew what's going on. We dictate what's going on, but no. We're just following along. Oh, whatever. Fuck it. We have so much power. It's fucking crazy.
How many people are on Facebook?
I'm not on Facebook
About
anymore.
like a billion, I think.
Couple
A
billion.
billion!
Couple billion. I think.
Jesus,
Yeah.
Jamie.
Who knows?
A billion.
Who knows?
With a B. Okay, seems normal.
That's what they say.
Well, give that dude who looks like an alien all the money then.
Seriously.
Woo!
No, it's really.
Yeah, it's actually double that.
Okay.
Yeah. But
It's a lot of cash, kids.
Yeah.
Respect.
It's an incredible amount of money.
Monthly active users.
But,
is 2.6
Joe,
billion
just
2.6 billion?
a month. 1.73 a day.
yeah.
Oh my
It's
God.
good. But if you just zoom out,
Oh my God. Put that back up. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's insane.
yeah,
Holy shit.
yeah. I know.
That's close to, what, a third of the humans?
So, you know,
Those are not real
Facebook-
people, though. But yes.
Take away Nordic folk.
Facebook
No
has
internet.
created a beautiful, beautiful advertising machine, and I give 1,000% credit to Zuckerberg, his vision, and whoever else has worked with him. It is such a beautiful mechanism for micro-targeting. He has delivered on a lot of the promise that we were all looking at. Like, you'll be able to get and I've been complicit in that. The right ad to the right person, just the right moment, just when he's scratching his nuts, wants to buy the car. We'll know it all. We're going to give it to you. And he has delivered largely on that promise. Unfortunately, with age and wisdom, I've come to realize that was a very bad thing to want. It's a very fucking bad thing to want.
Is the real concern that gets connected to AI?
Of course.
And then
it's
AI
already happening. And AI is being skewed in so many interesting ways. For a while, if you typed in American inventor, you would get all black inventors, black-colored skin. I don't know if they were all ADOS or not. So that's an overcompensation of the algorithm for some reason. So these things are happening, and the thing is, I believe all people are good. They want to do good. They're convinced that they have to do this. Like, you have to say, I'm a racist to be good. Please think about what you're doing.
Could you imagine if hell is reaching some connection between virtual reality and artificial intelligence, where they trick you? They trick you into living in a world with no pain.
I can
They trick you into living in a
completely
world with
envision
no
that.
conflict.
Sure.
no advancement, no improvement. What we are right now for all of eternity, but that's actually hell.
Are you
It's
there?
just a slow trickle.
Are you there, Joe?
Right now, no, I'm feeling great.
But are you going to go there?
No,
No, okay.
dude, we can do better. But the
Yeah.
idea that it's a slow trickle where there's no risk ever,
Yeah.
I think you have to take risks. I think it's a
Okay.
big factor in being
And
a human.
that's yes,
I
and
think you
that
have
is
to do it.
you need some. This is why many very successful people, whether business or academics,
Yeah.
but certainly royalty, they all develop a super specialty. And they can do some study algebra, some others will study economics, and they become very successful because they need that challenge. As all human beings, we need a challenge, a real challenge in our life
Yeah, no, I
to be our full self.
think we do too. I think we need a challenge, and also all other aspects of our life in terms of like what we believe in. And I think the problem is that if you believe one thing and I believe an opposing thing, we have to be violently opposed to each other. I think the problem is that people become too married to their ideas, and if we could just avoid that, and if we could just talk to people.
Look at this example. You and I are not on the same page on a lot of things.
Like, what are we not on the same page of?
No, I think I'm much more. Well, we joke around conspiracy theory, whatever.
Right,
but
right.
I'm pretty serious about a lot of things I said. But you respect me for what I'm saying it, and even if you haven't figured it out or don't like it or whatever, it doesn't matter. You're just like, okay, you heard it, you registered it.
100% don't disagree with you.
No, but you know
I
what I'm
just
saying.
don't- but my thought is all my thoughts on conspiracies are from ignorance. So
Of course.
when you say something like,
I'm just as
maybe
ignorant. I'm
not.
just as
Yeah,
ignorant.
maybe
That's
not,
the beauty
but-
of it.
But
Yeah.
I'm not married to it.
So if
but
you-
in the past, when I was younger, I would have been. I
Yeah.
would have been
You
married
would've-
to some
but
dumb idea.
So just as you can get really married to a dumb idea, you can
Yeah.
get married to fuck your dumb ideas.
yes.
So
for sure.
let's stop calling it something and labeling someone a conspiracy theorist.
When you're
Just,
lighting
okay.
things on fire and throwing them into the lobby of an apartment complex filled with people,
Yeah, that's
like
not
that's
okay.
this is a terrible, ineffective message. It's not how
yeah.
we want people to behave.
Well, when
because-
it's not punished, it's a very bad message.
well, it's also a terrible call for escalation, because if you kill people
Yeah.
with fire, they're
Yeah.
going to come back with guns. They're going to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, are
This
we
is
trying to
nuts.
start a war? This is bananas. Like and if you feel like you haven't been represented, there's other ways to get the message out. As frustrating as it may seem,
Joe, I do
you
not
shouldn't
for
light buildings on
I do
fire.
not for the Black Bloc and Antifa is completely separate from Black Lives Matter
Yes.
protests. And I don't agree with pulling down statues without debate or discussion, but the Black Bloc, which is really, whenever you see the helmet, the backpack, the black outfit, that's probably not your average run-of-the-mill protester.
Are we in an Avengers movie?
Possibly, in a way. To think that it's not possible is ridiculous. There
right.
are elements who are, and I think it's kind of now being admitted everywhere. Even Joe Biden is now, because it's bad for him in the polling, is coming out
Yes.
and saying, okay, these are agitators. Yeah, fuck yeah, they are. And this is being downplayed, not being shown to you, because you need that. And by the way, when you have in race riots, you have different levels. So you have the protesters fine. Then you get the agitators, and the agitators start to break shit. Then you get the guys with the umbrellas, and they start to break windows, showing you where the third wave, which is truly the poorest of society, they come in to go grab stuff. And why do they grab stuff? Because they've seen everybody is grabbing something for themselves. They've seen it all. The politicians, they're not stupid. They've seen the politicians. They've seen the Hollywood. They've seen everybody steal. The agitators, the people with the hammers and the umbrellas, they say, there you go. These people go in. They get what they feel is theirs. That's part of their American dream at this point. So we have to recognize what's happening and then take it away from just black or white racial issues. This is people fucking with us fucking with us because of our history, and it's triggering a lot of deep emotional shit, and it's really evil to exploit that. And I think we need to go to therapy. We need to go to therapy as a country.
Do you think this is like a plan to fuck with us?
I believe so, yeah.
By who?
Well, it could be China. It could be just globalists. It could be Russia. It doesn't matter. We do the same to other countries.
Right.
We're exporting. How many times have we said we're bringing democracy to you, Middle East? Come on, man. Come on, man. I did
Come
a Joe
on, man.
Biden. Look.
Come
Here's the
on,
deal.
man.
Come on, man. You
Here's the
lying
deal.
two-faced pony soldier.
That's a great phrase, though.
What? Come on, man.
Two-faced pony soldier.
I'd never heard it before. The guy's
He's a savage. You got that out?
no.
Fucking pop the stitch when he said
not
that.
a savage. That guy is a problem.
It's really interesting. It's like if the world was a simulation, this would be a fantastic moment where you had to decide, like, how preposterous are you gonna let it get?
Like I got it.
these-
We're sitting around there. We got the game under control. Hey Joe, I got it. We'll do this dude against this dude.
Imagine if you were in charge of a sleep
Yeah.
a dream simulation.
Yeah.
And you were on the outside.
Yeah.
You Adam Curry, fucking kitchen gloves.
Yeah.
The whole deal, working all the
Yeah.
chords, and
Yeah.
you had to like, okay, we got to bring this guy out. Like let's do
this.
let him.
Let's just see what happens.
Let's let things get
Yeah.
more and more
Right.
preposterous to the point where he's willing to come out
Yeah.
of this
Right.
programming and be awake again. But you've been in a simulation this entire time.
Yeah, and who says that you and I right now, this conversation, is not a part of the manipulation of that exact simulation?
That's what my concern is, because I know
That's
personally
what's the best
that
part.
if I wasn't me, I would assume that someone's telling me what to do. But I'm telling you, no one's telling me what to do. That's the weirdest part
No,
about it.
you have synchronicity and it happens. It falls into place for you, right?
Maybe. I mean, they're
Come
telling
on.
you what you can't do. You can't commit crimes. You
No,
don't
but
be
just
mean to
your
people.
life in general. Every move seems to kind of fall into place for you.
A lot of them do.
Even
if
bad things.
If you think
doesn't matter.
if a bad thing happens, generally it's because I did something stupid.
Yeah.
Like I thought wrong, or I said the wrong thing, or I moved in the wrong direction. Then I had to recognize why I moved. All those things are
And
good.
you-
Like,
and you
if you have a
debug-
bad set, like a bad set in stand up, or is the best example.
I can only
of bad
imagine how
moments.
horrifying
There's
that
sometimes
must
you
be.
come out with a new joke and it's just wrong. It just doesn't work.
Right.
And you like I'm gonna just open with this, and like maybe you have one too many Jack Daniels in the back, and you get a little
Didn't
frisky.
quite handle it right.
You feel like you're just gonna get on stage and take over, Adam Curry, but the joke does not come out exactly how you wanted it to because it's fresh, and like jokes, like a stand-up joke is sort of like a thing that you have an intention and then there's a result, and people oftentimes they misconstrue the result with your intention. Like if you bomb, they're like, this motherfucker wanted to hurt my feelings. He wanted to make me feel bad. But it's
Right.
terrible comedy.
The exact opposite
But
of
it's
what
not.
the intention is.
It's
right.
just he just
Right.
missed.
Right.
It's the literal, like the artistic
Which is the
equivalent
edge,
to crashing
right?
on a surfboard.
Isn't that where the edge is on something
Yeah.
that should be offensive, but somehow you laugh about it?
Well, sorta, yeah, but it's like what your ideas are in stand up are representative of what you actually feel as a person. Like, can you make a controversial
Of
idea
course. Something.
palatable?
Yeah.
Can you make it palatable? That seems to be what it is.
So what you're doing, if we just take it back to the simulation, you're debugging your own program. That is the definition of AI. That you are artificial intelligence. To me, this is the big joke. We are the artificial intelligence, and these guys are just like pretending that they got something.
That's
I
a
think
way to
we're
look at it. Here's
We're
my
it.
way to look at it. I don't think we've been talking that long.
No, not at all.
I think
no.
we've been talking about 40,000 years, man.
If that, yeah.
I don't think it's been that long. I don't think we're that good at it.
My mom died 15 years ago. My mom used to tell me, I said, you know how they came up with the name brush for hairbrush? I said, no. She go, it was a dude. Yeah, this fucking thing and he went like this, brush.
Really?
No, of course that's what she really said, but obviously it's bullshit. But it was just like, yeah, man, that really made me realize that we really haven't been there that long. You know, some fucking caveman just came up with a brush.
Well, the
it
human
only
being,
took a little bit,
this form of human has only been around for what?
just a little bit.
500,000 years?
Yeah, whatever it is.
At the max,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? What's the threshold, Jamie? It's like an estimate. I think it's between 250 and 500,000 years ago, Homo sapiens emerged. Somewhere.
Sure.
around- Dude, that's nothing.
No, it
That's
isn't.
so little.
Yeah.
That's so little.
I don't know if you remember, but you were saying something with Duncan that was, you were talking about us actually being the spaceship, and that we are hurtling through the universe at this
Yeah.
amazing speed, and and everything's whipping by.
Yeah.
And I love that, because you really, when you zoom out of reality, and it's all given, yeah, we're on the Earth, it's round or whatever, you fuck, it's flat, doesn't matter. It's still a thing in space with this round or flat. It's in space. We're flying, we're moving, we're doing stuff. That realization, or just thinking about that in general, just people just talking about, wow, man, we're in space. Look at the sky, look at the stars. What does it mean?
It's a coward's perspective to just look at the treetops.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
There's something about it.
Which is why
that-
marijuana is something I support.
It's so important.
I
That's what I'm talking about, dog.
I support,
That's what I'm talking
I
about.
support that shit. Yeah.
Come on,
definitely,
Governor.
Definitely.
Get on board.
Abbott will get there.
Abbott, I love you.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. So don't get too easy with your vote there, Joe
Listen,
Rogan.
I'm
Your
getting
endorsement's going to mean a lot in the
I'm letting
Drone
people
Star
know they're
State.
I'm your friend, and I'm wearing my wife's shirt.
That's right. You are appropriate.
Listen, it's not bad. Make some money off this shit. Stop playing games. It's not killing anybody. Listen, if Texas is a place we can own a fucking tiger,
Yeah.
I had a bit in my
That-
act that
that is pretty
Texas.
crazy.
This is a fact. This is a 100% fact. There's more tigers in captivity in Texas
Yeah.
than all of the wild of the world. There's more tigers in dudes' backyards.
I know. Yeah.
But you can't have weed. Really? Are we really being responsible here?
You'll learn that there's codes in
Oh
Texas.
my God. It's easier to own a tiger than a dog that's been labeled as dangerous.
We'll
It's estimated there could be from 2,000 to 5,000 tigers
That's
living in. That's so many. 5,000 tigers is a herd.
my
You
buddy-
imagine if you saw 5,000 tigers coming over the hill. You're like, there's going to be nothing left of me in seconds.
My buddy Gene has huge snakes in his apartment.
What?
Yeah, he has.
Does he have a baby?
No, it's just him. Yes,
Okay.
but one is 16 feet long.
Have you heard those stories?
Tigrit, I think, and
Tigrit?
Oh yeah,
It has
they
a
have
name?
names. Yeah, and the other one is I
Did
think
you just say 16?
16. I think it's like 15 or 16. It's incredible, and it's very interesting to see. They have an interesting life, these snakes.
Yeah, you know what that is for me? That's like holding two 80-pound dumbbells and trying to keep your face above water. And saying,
Yeah.
how long can you do this before those things eat you?
No.
You got a
no,
16-foot snake in your house, son.
No. I think he's a boa constrictor, so he only
Rats.
But he goes
So-
into the bathtub when he feels it's time for a bath. He's sleeping. They sleep most of the time. Yeah, it's a trip though, because I go there like, all right, let me say hi to the snakes, because it's like his family.
I was watching a video today of a guy who was fishing in Australia. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but they caught a big fish, and there is like the dangers of fishing in Australia. And as this guy is reeling this fish in, a crocodile comes swimming out of the water and steals his fish, and they're running away from this crocodile.
No,
Dude, crocodiles are so scary.
They have them here. They have them here too. We have
Alligators.
Alligator. You have an
Different
alligator.
animal.
And, yeah,
That
yeah.
we allow those in America.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
if we had crocodiles
Here
in America the way they have them in Australia,
Yeah.
we would kill them all.
Really?
Fuck yeah!
Have you ever been to Australia?
No, I have. Yeah, I have for
I went in
stand up,
ni- in
but I've
19
never,
yeah.
I've never seen those crocs.
In 1990, I
Look at
went.
that.
I did a documentary and went into the outback and just learned so much, and I don't even recognize.
So this
Australia
dude caught
anymore.
a fish, and the crocodile
Wow.
comes and jacks it.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
Oh,
you gotta run,
yeah.
son. Give up the fish. So I
Boom.
bet they probably
Done.
wait.
Done.
Look at that.
Oh,
There's your fish, bitch.
Huge fish.
That's a huge fish.
Fuck.
That crocodile just swallows it down. Crocodiles are so spooky, man. They're so big. Look at that thing.
Hey,
It's a
man.
monster that lives in the jungle.
we got to shout out to everybody down under, everybody in Victoria, in Melbourne who are being
Yes.
locked down like fucking
locked down
rats. They're like fucking rats.
Shout out. Shout out to Adam Greentree.
They're getting screwed. They're playing the same damn script down there. Only 6 months later. It's crazy.
Well, they're trying to
Same
probably
shit.
protect people and keep their hospital beds. So
Yeah,
that they
that's
can,
all. We flattened the curve.
Yeah,
And
they're probably
then,
trying to do a lot of those things, but it just seems like no one's doing it right. It seems like there's
No.
no country that prepared properly, and
No.
it's almost like who the fuck saw this coming? Who? No one did, you know. And there was a pandemic department that we had here that was shut down by Trump. When?
Well, yes, but that was transferred into yes.
So not necessarily shut down.
Not shut down. It
sort
became
of-
a biological weapons group, which is yes, which has the same function as a flu. So that is a little different than the story.
Wait a minute. Explain that.
So the pandemic response group
Right.
that was within, I believe, the National Security Council.
This was the one that Trump was accused of dismantling.
No, he did dismantle it. He dismantled
okay.
it and took. It was only 2 people or 3 people, and took those
Really?
resources. Yeah, it's in the National Security Council, so it's a real responsibility. But they transferred that into a biological weapons program to be on the lookout for that, which has the same characteristics as what happened. Either way, it doesn't seem like it worked very well, other than the president shutting down some travel or most travel from China and Europe and the UK against everyone else's wishes. That part, I think he did well, but I don't know how well this biological warfare outfit worked, because if anything, the tests were either sabotaged or sucked, or the CDC is inefficient, ineffective. I don't know, but we got that too late. And what we got, the PCR tests that spin up the DNA samples 37 to 40 times instead of 30, is producing results that could be a lot of 35% false positive. So when you don't have any data to work with, you're fucked. You're fucked. We have nothing.
Wait a
You
minute,
don't have the data.
35% false positives.
30%, 30% false positives. This is in the New York Times just last week. And so, just to make sure that even though the New York Times is full of shit, I think when they publish something good,
How dare you.
it should be noted.
But isn't also that one of those things where they don't know how effective it's going to? They have to implement something. They find out how it's effective by looking at all the data that they get
What's
back.
effective?
Like when you have any kind of tests. When they're first when
So
COVID-19
this is
emerges,
known testing policy.
Right.
Normally, you spin it up 30% for a PCR test.
but when COVID-19 emerged,
Yeah.
was when was the first test?
Well, the first ones were bogus, and some of the CDC tests actually contained some of the virus. It was fucking crazy. It was a huge botch.
Test contained the
Yes,
virus?
yeah, it was a huge botch. I mean, not all of them, but it got fucked up. And that's when President Trump said, okay, we're now doing the Abbott system. You got all the commercial labs in, you got all that going, because they were just failing. Now, but what then happened, I'm not so sure that that's honest, because there's a lot of incentive in the pharmaceutical and medical system to skew things a certain way to make sure you get paid. And you can't deny that's taken place historically. So
Yeah.
there's some of it happening. And the main way to make sure we had a lot of positives is, instead of 30 times amplification of the fragments of the virus that you're looking for, they did it 37 to 40 times, and that gives you a lot more. It's known science. It's just not told.
Well, one of the big complaints recently, wasn't it that the tests are too accurate, where they're
Too accurate.
in a sense that they're labeling people as positive that are no longer contagious. They're too sensitive rather than accurate.
Yes, that's exactly
Yeah.
what it is.
Right.
So people
So-
are getting a false positive,
So
saying
they're not contagious.
nothing at all. It's just you
Right.
have. So in order to test positive, you have to have a certain. If you're going to get symptoms, you have to have a certain amount of viral load.
Right.
So you have to have more than just a little bit. If you had it, just talking here, I might not get it. But if we're making out slowly and
Jesus.
swapping spit and having a good time with each other, I might get
What
enough
kind of
viral
music
load.
would we be doing?
Yeah, total 70s porn music.
I thought it was
We'd have
David
Jamie
Bowie.
make it all red.
Old school David
no.
Bowie, I was thinking.
All right, I'll do it. Whatever turns you on.
There's a star man waiting over you.
My child will be horrified when she sees this. She'll be like, Dad, seriously, you need to back off on that shit.
Great goddamn song, though.
So, yeah, we don't have any real data anymore. I think
here's the thing. We want someone to be in charge when everyone is trying to figure it out in real time.
But the nature of our entire system is not someone's in charge. The president can't say shut it down. He just can't say that. That has to come from the governors. And then, here in Austin, we have different rules that the governor has allowed, but you don't have to have them, so they're not mandated.
Yeah.
So that system goes back up the line. And in Austin, this is what I don't like. We were told, again, mass social distance, close the bars, etc. Once we're into the next phase, which is instead of 40 hospitalizations per day, an average of 22, then we go to the next phase, and then we're allowed to open up some more. But it was like, no, we're going to wait until September 8th because schools are opening. We don't want to jeopardize that. But when you do that to Americans, that is fucked, and they're misjudging how Americans take that shit. You give us a goal, Joe, we'll go like, we all will go. Any color, creed, background, fuck yeah, we're going to go do this. We're going to get this fucking goal. Flatten the goddamn curve. We're going, bitch. This is what we do. Hoo-ha! Hoo-ha!
Hoo-ha.
Right? Semper Fi, we go. We all go. Where we go one, we go all.
Right.
We go all. And then when they say, okay, great job, but now we're going to take another couple weeks. We have to meet your next goal. That's not, we go, what the fuck? Right?
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. And this is the danger, because it could just be ugly. It could just be ugly. But something will have to happen.
I think that the
one way or
real
the other.
danger is not letting the actual interaction take place. The real danger is in silencing opposing opinions.
Of course.
Because I feel
always.
like when you're doing that, if you have a platform, whether it's like Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or anything, if you have a platform and in that platform some people believe X, Y, others believe Y, if you just decide to shut down everyone that believes Y, you create a tyranny. You have a tyranny of ideology. Like you have to believe, especially if it's connected to the economy, like it is in Hollywood. And this is one of the things that I experienced. I didn't experience it personally. I wasn't a victim of it by any stretch. But I had friends that were they would have this perspective that they knew they had to have if they went into meetings.
They were trapped, otherwise they would. Could I have a little more of that?
Yeah, sure.
Otherwise they wouldn't get the gigs.
Man, I don't even think it was the fault of the people that were enforcing it.
Of course
I think
not.
It's just a natural scenario where human beings. One more time, salute,
All right,
brother.
salute, brother.
To the real Podfather, the real one.
To the real Joe Rogan experience, Jamie.
Jamie's asleep.
Big fucking part of this thing.
He's been here all day.
I love that Jamie is he's like a hot property now in Austin. Man.
Hot property.
Jamie is like it's like, what? This motherfucker's here alone.
Yeah,
He's
look
single.
out.
Is he single?
Dangerous bitches headed your way,
My
son.
goodness, this guy. How old is he? He's young, right?
He's 12.
fucking ass.
Look at him. That's why I call him Young
25,
Jamie.
25, whatever the fuck it
Yeah,
is.
man. He's been getting DNA shots every day I've known him.
He is
Once the
living life.
NASA people got into
But you know,
see, once I had to reverse my stance on the moon landing, and then the CIA people took over, Jamie started getting shots.
Oh yeah.
He's been on UFOs.
Yeah, I'm tell you, no, but he's like the nerdy type. It's like
Jamie's already got a
totally-
Neuralink. Ask him.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he got it. Fuck those pigs.
I would
Jamie's the.
That was
That's
kind
how
of
he
weird. That was
Googles so
kind of
quick.
weird, man, with the pig demo. I'm like, Elon, man. I like it because he always does the anti-demo.
I didn't even watch that. I'm like,
Oh, I
come
did.
to me
I-
when
I-
you're working with monkeys.
I could not. And Tina's like, what the fuck are you actually watching? I
Come
see
to
Elon
me
Musk with pigs. What's going on?
when you could turn a raccoon into that Guardians of the Galaxy character, come to me then.
I love the idea. I love the idea. I would love to try the interface instead of the keyboard. You know, just be able to think it and make it go. I love to get the analysis power of the computer, but I would like to be able to turn it off.
I have two concerns.
I would like to
one,
turn it off.
I don't want to be an early adopter. But two, if you're not an early adopter, what if those motherfuckers just take off and control everything?
No.
Dude, Elon and
It's
I
not,
were talking
it's
about
not
it.
that simple. It
According to
takes
Elon,
more than
it is.
just the first generation of early adopters. But I would
But
say
they
get
do
in
get a
early.
jump. They
Get in
get a
early is
jump.
what I'd say.
He was saying that might have a massive increase in their productivity.
Of course.
And that would be a huge advantage.
Do you know
in
what's
terms of
really
business?
You know what's really fascinating, and this does play into this. Most companies who have had people working from home have now cut 40% of their real estate portfolio. This is going to continue forever. The remaining 60% of their real estate portfolio, offices, they've increased. There's no more cubicles. It's executive offices, meeting rooms, conference rooms. Everyone else is going to be working from home, and the productivity almost across the board, from what I understand from my friends who are in IT integration, is up significantly because people now know that they're at home. It used to be, if you were working on the road, if someone heard a bird tweeting in the background, you'd be busted. Like, you fucker, you're not in the office. But now it's accepted. And so people are working from anywhere and everywhere. And companies are fucking loving this.
People call people out on bird sounds in the background?
Back in the day? Oh, yeah. If you're on a conference call, who the fuck? Put it on mute, bitch. You're walking through the city. You're in Macy's. I hear you. Oh, yeah. All that shit. I had that, too.
Remote work, it seems like it makes more
done.
sense.
It's done. It's done. It's done. So live where you work where you live.
But what happens to like the cultures that are created by big businesses all working together?
The whole,
Some
the
people
whole
feed
world is
off of.
changing, Joe Rogan.
I know, but
This
is
is what's taking place, man.
but
This
is-
is why
for
you
some people
keep
that-
that in view for us. You bring in all the crazy
Don't
fuckers.
put that shit on me.
You have a huge responsibility.
Don't you
You're
put
in
that evil on me.
You're in Texas now. This is where legends are born, Joe Rogan.
But don't you think a lot of what we're talking about here, whether it's a conspiracy or
conspiracy,
or just the way things happen when systems conflict with each other and one gains control and the opposing forces move in and take more control? Like it's always been that case.
In 2006, I was living in London, and I got an invitation from the Queen of England.
Damn, son.
And she was relaunching the royal website, and I was invited to come and be a part of that. And they picked me up in a car, in a Mercedes, interestingly enough.
I was hoping to be a
It
carriage.
should have been a Rolls. But the front gate at Buckingham Palace took me right through the fucking front gate. It opened up. I went in there, was in this waiting room with about 100 other people. And there was, art I'd never seen, Rembrandt's, Van Gogh's. I've never seen those before. And then this whole ceremony. And then you shake her hand. You go down the line. It's Mr. Adam Carré. And I looked her straight in the eye. Everyone's bowing. I'm like, let me look in there. What do I see? And I saw nothing,
Lizard.
man. Fucking
Lizards.
nothing. Yeah, lizard. But the fact is that if we still are willing to believe that we need this tradition of this old lady with funny hats living in some prime fucking ass real estate in the middle of London, we got a lot of thinking to do.
Well, we don't.
We got a lot of fucking
We're American,
thinking to do.
goddammit. We're here in Texas. I don't know what you're talking about with England.
That's right. This is the People's Republic of Texas, and it stands on its own.
Those
We
folks
love
over
our
there
neighbors.
with their kings and their queens, they can go fuck themselves.
No,
How
no,
about
no, no, no. We're a very welcoming people. This is where we're underestimated here in Texas. We're good people.
No, I agree.
We're good
But
people.
the queen thing is ridiculous. I'm sure she's great.
But
I'm sure
this-
she's the nicest
but,
lady
you
in the
know,
world.
I grew up in
but
the
the idea that she's the queen.
I had lunch with the King and Queen of the Netherlands a year and a half ago. It's fucking ridiculous. It's outrageous how did you get here?
They just were born in the right spot.
Right, but why do sane thinking
It's so-
people still want them involved in their political and everyday life? Because we're still kind of living
Sure.
in this caste system, in this system
Let
of
me ask you
classes,
this,
and
'cause
that's where we're at.
You're a person who understands blockchain and the idea of Bitcoin.
Yeah,
A lot
blockhead.
of what we're trying to do, what people are trying to do with come up
Yes.
with new ways to run the world.
I think I have
Is
some
there a
ideas.
way of running a decentralized government? Is that possible? Like,
Wow.
is our
Wow, that's a
problem
good idea.
that we look at government like you have to elect these people and they have ultimate
Mm-hmm.
control? Here's one of the more ridiculous ones. Whether you're bipartisan, whether you're a staunch Republican, staunch Democrat, please hold on for a second. Why is it okay that if you get elected president, you can pardon people? Like, is the law? Or is it not the law? Like, you have a fucking get out of jail free pass?
Yeah,
You have a
that's-
get out
yeah.
of jail free pass.
Yeah, that's
for
one of
people
those-
that
that's
stole
one of-
millions of dollars,
Yeah.
who did all kinds of crazy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
You could just swoop
That's
in.
one of those. There's a couple things you can do as a president, including appointing Supreme Court justices. This is kind of at the
Come on,
core of solidifying that executive branch. And they needed some power.
That's
So
weird.
Congress, House of Representatives, they get the purse, they get the money.
Yeah.
Senate gets to be just cigar smoking douchebags who like fuck around all the time, like whatever. But they have, they make it happen. These are the backroom cigar smoking deals. And then we have the executive branch who needs it, they need to have some power, and so their power, because of course the Supreme Court for us is like, oh, the Supreme Court said it, man. That's the end of the fucking line, which technically is not. That's why we let the president appoint the Supreme Court and federal judges.
Isn't that weird though? The president has a 4-year term.
Yeah.
But they can appoint someone who's there for life.
Well, they're all appointed for life only if someone dies or leaves. So it's not every president gets this. President Trump got some major fucking break here. He got 2, maybe a 3rd,
Pretty tight.
maybe a 4th, depending. And I wish no ill on anyone, but RBG, she's on the ropes. She seems to be bulletproof. I don't know, and I like her. She is. I don't agree with a lot of her decisions, but she is an American success story. If you know her story about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, that's a very, very powerful woman who really is impressive.
I gotta pee again.
Fuck you, Joe
Let me
Rogan.
pause, and then you tell me the Ruth Bader Ginsburg story.
Is this the first time Joe Rogan has had 2 pit stops on the show?
Yeah, I think so.
That's
probably the
pretty
first time,
amazing.
right?
2 within 3 hours.
I'm
We
out
can
of
do
shape.
longer
I
ones
took a whole
sometimes.
week off. I had to move and set up the spot. My bladder shrunk back down to normal size. My bladder was very impressive at one point in time. I can go like 4 or 5 hours even. No peeing, just strong, stay strong. But eventually it shrunk back down.
So how can we support you moving here to Austin?
I'm already here, bitch. What are you talking about?
I don't know. We want to help you out. What can we do for you? What do you
Dude,
need,
I
man?
love
What
you.
can
You
we
don't have to do
what can we
shit.
make
You've already
easier
done
for your
everything.
life? What
You've
can we
already
make
done
easier
everything.
for you?
My goal as a person, and this is something I've been thinking about a lot lately, because I had a hard time coming to grips with this idea that people are listening to what I think. I'm not an expert in anything, but I've come to the conclusion through all the trials and errors and pros and cons of my life that if we just go into things with the intention of working things out and not of fighting, not of conflict, it's possible that all the excess energy that we have that's dedicated to these unnecessary conflicts, that maybe we can come to a comfortable agreement for both parties. We're fucking that up because of this ancient DNA that we have that leads us to always want to go to war with opposing tribes. And I feel it in myself. I felt it in myself when I was younger. I've fought against it. I've analyzed it. I've been confused by it and humiliated by it. It's a part of being a person, and it's a very strong motivation. And I've mocked it in many times, even in pro and con jest. I understand what it is. I get it. There's a thing that we all have. We want to be loved and accepted by a group of our peers and our community. But that leading to doing that out of fear, it leads to a lack of critical thinking, which leads to ideologies, which is why we have cults. It's
true.
It really is.
It's true. In the late, it was probably 80, 81. I was quite young, but I wound up in Los Angeles, and I was trying to have some meetings, trying to figure out if I could be somewhere in Hollywood or something. It was like a total lark. And I had 1 or 2 phone numbers from, I think, the backup singer, or maybe, remember there was Janet Jackson, What Have You Done For Me Lately?
Yeah, I remember
and there was an answer record to that. So it was an answer record. Here's what I've done for you lately, bitch. It was kind of one of those deals.
I don't listen to those because those are negative.
Well, but back in this time, so I wound up in probably Compton area, and it was I don't know what radio station it was, but it was probably one of KLX or the equivalent of New York BLS, and there were these guys doing rap battles, and so it kind of transformed from gangs to rapping. That's how hip hop really got started. You were battling against them, and you had the breakdance battles, and all these different.
Right.
It was pure tribes against each other. Maybe today's version, instead of bullshitting each other on some fucking
There it is.
Exactly.
Oh my my
Well,
God.
this is
That's
the movie
so
Breakdance.
80s.
That's the movie Breakdance.
That might
Well,
be one of the most 80s things I've ever seen.
I don't want to say we have.
Oh my
yeah,
God, it was amazing.
That totally discredited my whole argument just by showing that to me. Yes, you really ruined it. Once people see the shoulder pads, like Curry's full of shit.
Oh my
Shut up,
God.
man.
Something
That
about
period
shoulder
shall not
pads.
be spoken. Maybe we should all just be doing podcasts. Everybody get a fucking podcast together. Work it out. Yell at somebody over some kind of Skype
That's
connection.
Not the worst idea, but I
just
think
get started. Get started.
I-
Get started.
I honestly believe that we should come up with some sort of an agreement for how we communicate.
Don't
with
be
each other.
assholes.
Yeah.
Yes. By example. That's the only way.
I
By
think
example.
just that alone will shift so many things into the proper
Yeah.
position. I mean,
By
I,
example.
yeah, I really
just
think
be
that.
example. Just be an example. That's all it is.
And I think we also have to acknowledge that people fucking change and grow over time. And you know,
Do we ever?
we if we want people to get better, we have to assume and we have to acknowledge that whoever they are today is not who they were yesterday. And there's a lot of people that are like, I see it a lot with either alcoholics or drug addicts, where people just dismiss them. And they go, this fucking guy, he's just, he had that thing with oxys. He's always going to be that
Right.
way. Like,
No,
are you
no,
fucking
people
sure?
can absolutely
Are you
change.
sure they
Yeah.
can change?
Yeah.
If they decide, they can change, and they can go on to become amazing people. There's a grip that anything can get on you, whether it's opiates or coke or whatever the fuck it is. But there's some things that become you. They are you. They're the new Adam Curry system
built
involves
in there.
cocaine.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Well, no, but yeah.
But I mean,
it
if
involved.
you got hooked on cocaine.
Well, it's marijuana. That
Right.
is throughout my entire system, my being. It's how I
Let's just say
live
it,
a lot
meth.
of life.
We both love it. It's an
What the
amazing
fuck?
thing. Thank God for trailers. I've never done meth, but if I
That's
did,
all.
I'd probably keep doing
That's
it.
really all it takes. And people have to at least, and this is the big problem, not be afraid to say what you think. And think about how you say it. Try and say something nicely, but don't be afraid of using something that is politically not right or could be or the term problematic is bullshit by itself. Either it's a problem or it's not a problem.
I think we have this undeniable inclination to form groups. And form
And
groups
that's okay.
of people that think along our lines, and then everybody who opposes those thoughts, we close ourselves off to their perspective and we fight against them. It's a natural thing that people do. And it's one of the reasons why we have so many problems with all kinds of different ideas, is that people, whether you have this idea, when you've made a decision on a controversial issue in your mind, most of the time, what you're basing your decision is on your own perspective, your education, how you a wealth. Let's just give it the best of possible results, and saying you're looking at any problem as you're going to look at it objectively and come up with your own perspective. But your perspective is going to be different than someone who grew up in Miami, which is going to be different than someone who came from another country. Everyone's going to have their own
Thank you. This is the core of America, by
yeah,
the way.
Yeah.
Just tie into that. My friend Mo, he was born and grew up in North Carolina, lives in Virginia. He's ADOS. We've never met each other. I've never even seen him. Doesn't matter. But one day, I'm going to go hang out with Mo, and I'm going to eat whatever the fuck Mo's family eats. I'm going to hang out with his children and talk the way about things they're interested in. And he's going to come, and he and his wife will come and visit us, and he'll see our side and our culture. And it's beautiful because you can enjoy it with each other and still be different. We don't have to be forced into this one... It's all the same thing. I don't believe in that.
It's
That's
definitely not all the same
fun.
thing.
That's not fun.
But it doesn't have to be all the same thing. I mean, the idea of like just people.
Yeah.
Just people doesn't mean it's all the same.
No.
It means
But you have to.
we're all just people. But there's people that live like this, and there's people that live
Yeah.
over here, and there's a different climate there, and this place is really cold.
I get the idea that's not where some forces want us to go.
But what is that though? That's just people jockeying for control. Like, should we concentrate on them, or
I
should
think you
we
need to
really
be
concentrate
aware.
on what we actually think about these things? And
Well,
I think
that's
we
the
all
same
think
thing.
about when I talk to rational people, what do they think about these things? They kind of think what I just said, like just people. It's just people.
Yeah.
Just good, bad, smart,
Different.
dumb, interesting,
Everybody's
fascinating.
different.
Yeah, people who don't read, who say brilliant shit.
Yeah.
There's people who can't see and they can play guitar. Yeah,
So isn't that all basically coming from a place of fear, either not fitting in or not being understood or not understanding and just being afraid of what that means. And I think
Yeah.
that's fueled by a lot of things around us. We're just afraid. It's fear. It's always fear. It's a great mechanism.
There's always a lot of fear, and I think that fear encourages people to engage in groupthink, and it discourages them from coming up with a contradictory opinion. If there's a narrative that all the really aggressive people, whether it's right wing or left wing, if there's a narrative that they're espousing, like
Yeah.
there's a gravity to that. You want to tell people, I'm in, man. Yeah, we need to do that. Lock them borders down. Oh, yeah, we need to do that and like eat the rich, like whatever it is, one side or the other. There's a draw to that. Just
But
like
what we
there's a
need to
draw
learn,
cults.
what we need to learn is not to immediately say, "You're wrong," and I hate you because of it.
Yeah.
Because once we admit that everything we've just talked about, I don't know if I'm fucking right. Just my opinion. What you say is your
I know what
opinion.
you're saying.
We could be wrong. So you just have to recognize that. And what I don't understand, and that's part of the mechanism somehow, is this, and maybe it's triggered by black and white checker boxes. Maybe it's triggered by somewhere over the rainbow. I don't know what's going on, but for some reason we're being triggered into hating someone with a different idea. And that's
Yeah,
fucked. That
exactly.
is completely fucked up.
Exactly.
That's
it's not
fucked.
necessary. Have you ever seen the documentary that was on the debates between Gore Vidal and
Oh, yeah, this is a while back. It's a while back.
yeah,
I do remember
1960s.
this, yeah.
What was it called? God damn it! What the fuck's the British gentleman's name? There it
I
is.
don't remember.
Best of Enemies. That's what it is.
Yes.
It's Gore Vidal
Yeah.
and who was the?
That was a very famous...
I'm high as fuck right now. I can't remember. That's
William
right.
F. Buckley.
William F. Buckley.
How about this?
And
William-
there was a really fascinating moment where William F. Buckley got upset at him and
Mm-hmm.
like threatened to punch him and shit, threatened to hit him, and like it's
Oh, yeah.
real intense,
Yeah.
intense. But this, it's again, it's this. If I think I'm right and I think you're wrong, and I want to prove that I'm right and you're wrong, it becomes becomes a game of tennis. It becomes wrestling.
Yeah.
It becomes a contest, and any contest that people engage in. Like there's all sorts of factors that come into play. Like the Mongols didn't conquer like a quarter of the world because their ideology was right. They had the right factors in place that allowed them to do that.
Elephants.
All kinds of shit. So if someone has if someone has a control of a situation, it doesn't necessarily mean that they should.
William F. Buckley, son, William F. Buckley Jr., who was one of the founders of the conservative America, his son Christopher was married to my cousin Lucy. And this is,
Damn, dude.
oh yeah, my whole family is all kinds of government shit.
Lizard people, right? Come on, son.
No. Maybe. Maybe. My uncle Don is incredible. He was very high in the CIA. He became Bush Sr.'s national security advisor. So basically like the Michael Flynn or the Condoleezza Rice or
Did they frisk you at Thanksgiving?
well, it's very interesting because I've never been cleared. I have no clearance. And so at some family gatherings, some of the other cousins who I don't really know that well, like, well, we can't talk about this because you don't have clearance. I'm like, sorry, excuse me. Wow. Yeah. But that's really, if you look at the No Agenda show, that's really, it's been a truth-seeking of my own life because when I was in my teens, my parents, they both told me that they had been involved in, they were, I guess, to call civilians in the State Department. And that's why we had lived in Uganda when I was very young, and I think that's why I probably moved to Europe. And there's a lot of people who are. My whole family is definitely patriots. They've done a lot of weird things. They've been involved in weird shit. Everything from, my paternal grandfather was in the lieutenant commander in the Pacific, the Japanese theater. My maternal grandfather, Albert Schobel, he actually was German, but he landed at Normandy. He was in fucking D-Day.
Holy
and got a
shit,
Purple
dude.
Heart and all the shit for it.
Holy
and
shit.
So everybody was kind of involved. We got all kinds of, it's a very
Did you
patriotic.
ever talk to him about that?
I've talked to all of them. And I've actually talked. It's funny enough. My uncle I've had much deeper conversations with, and he's close to 90 now, so he's kind of done. I mean, I hope he stays around for a long fucking time. He and his wife, he was ambassador to South Korea. I mean, this is a major dude, and I believe he recruited my parents. Now, both of them are gone, so I can talk about it. I can't say exactly what they were doing, but I do know one thing. Is that, and this is why I think once I realized this, I have distrust of the media, is that I believe my father was in Uganda to report on certain events that were taking place. This was before Idi Amin came in.
Whoa.
So Obote was still president. And I think the U.S. controlled Obote. I'm not sure if they controlled Idi Amin. But he would write a story about something happening there, and it may not have been exactly what the story was, but it was a pro-America or pro-America agenda story. And because it was in the, I don't know, let's call it the fucking Uganda Times, the New York Times and the Washington Post could say, according to the Uganda Times, this is what's happening. So that story became truth, but that story was actually a message from United States intelligence or the president or whatever, or the State Department, whatever our democracy idea was, whatever our fucking agenda was. And so when they told me, it was really telling me, like, we're not in this anymore, we're not doing any of that, and we're legit. But it opened my eyes to having lived this huge lie, not that I knew it, but why did my dad come home one day and he was able to speak French fluently? Like, what the fuck? I remember some of that. You can tell me whatever you want. That's a cool language. Okay, bro. No, it's not. Well, it is actually. But so that kind of stuff was kind of mind-blowing. And it really reset my thinking. And I really don't know much. Both my parents passed. My dad passed last year. He was 80. The last several years of his life were, the thinking was really not there anymore. It just kind of went downhill. And we never really had it. He was gone a lot, and I don't blame him because he did what he had to do. And I think all my family are very patriotic, no matter what they were involved in. I think it came from a good place. And so I've kind of become this counterweight to all of that in some odd way. But I know that a lot of stuff is bullshit. And I know because I feel that my immediate family was involved in some of the creation of that, maybe a long time ago, but I don't think it got any better.
Yeah, I think everything evolves, right? And if people are pulling the wool over people's eyes in the 1960s,
I think it's only gotten much worse. Much better at it.
Yeah.
The internet has been a blessing and a curse at the same time.
It's always how it's going to be with everything in life.
As long as we realize it, as long as we can have it in the back of your mind, this could be bullshit. Just have that in the back of your mind.
It's always a possibility with all these systems. If you're looking at it like without any connection to who's right and who's wrong, you just look at it like this little, like a battle of like bugs battling it out. Just look at it in terms of like what are the qualities of each side and what
consider the source.
Yeah, consider the source. It's
but
just
also,
hard for people.
But also go out and walk in nature.
Yes.
Connect. Turn off the phone. Leave it at home. You just disconnect. It's important for your immune system.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
I think so.
Leave that shit at home. Go without it. Make love. I know it sounds nutty, but make fucking love.
Is that a Bad Company song? Feel like bacon.
Hello, we're
that
old
Bad
bros
Company?
from the 80s. Yeah, of course it is. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Any sex
Bro,
song will
brings me
do.
back to
Any sex
1984,
song.
son.
Any sex song will do, man.
Yeah, man.
That's what we
Remember,
need to do.
was a song about the kid, like Shooting Star? Everybody thought they were that kid. When I was in high school, about Johnny was a schoolboy when he heard his first Beatles song.
What the fuck is that? I grew up. I was in Holland. I think I missed that one.
You don't know that song? Isn't that
was
Bad
that?
Company? Shooting Star. It's a song about a rock star who he's just like
fuck, I feel
this
stupid now.
amazing rock star who dies young.
I had a certain
Yeah.
set of stuff in Europe growing up around the same time because I was really there from 7 on through teenage years.
There it is.
So I had a lot of
Bad
different
Company,
stuff.
second
That is
straight
Bad
album,
Company.
Straight
Okay,
Shooter,
okay.
1975.
Yeah.
There was something about a lot of that music that got discredited because it wasn't as complex as like maybe The Who or Rolling Stones or Zeppelin. There was some music that just didn't get the credit it deserves, you know. Billy Squier. Remember Billy Squier?
Of course.
Lonely as the night.
Of course. All of
Yeah.
that. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happened South Jersey too. A lot of Southside Johnny,
Dude, so-
but also Skid Row. I mean, those guys. I
Yes.
love those guys.
People loved or hate Bruce Springsteen.
I will love him forever just because, but I don't really see eye to eye with him on a lot of stuff anymore. But
I don't have to.
but-
His songs are like Captain Jack is one of my all-time favorite songs.
to me, it's the river.
That's a great song too.
You know,
How about Brilliant Disguise?
well, that was when I was just starting in television in Europe, and they had that. Is it you, baby? Just
Yeah.
and it was the really kind of. He had these kind of soft, cool videos.
Yeah.
Like when he had Fire, oh baby, I'm on fire. Hey,
Yes.
little girl, is your daddy home? You were feeling that shit.
That's a pedophile song.
They were bullshit. That was rock and roll, bitch. That was rock and roll. They do not associate that with the
I'm
boss.
sorry.
Not
It's a
at
mistake.
all.
Hey, little girl, is your daddy home?
I went to Moscow with Skid Row and all those guys. That
I don't
was
really mean that,
crazy.
Bruce.
No, he knows you don't.
Just
He knows you
jokes. Can we still do these? Or we'd have to pretend. Are we allowed to do
don't. How
jokes
do you feel
anymore,
about
Adam
that?
Curry?
How do you feel about that? You can still do jokes, can't you? When's your next next special? I need a special. I need a Joe
I
Rogan
can't do
special.
comedy right now, so how am I going
It's
to do
going to
a
take a
special?
couple of years before you get one together, you think, with writing and testing it out?
Who knows, man? Who knows when
What
we
do you
can,
need?
like,
you need,
really
you need
do
clubs
comedy.
and an audience, right? To test that shit.
Well, not just test it. It's like just to perform.
To
Like, who knows when we can perform again? You know, like right now, guys are doing. Some folks are doing outside places where they're doing.
what's this Chappelle camp or something I heard
Yeah,
about?
he's-
This is like some. This is some like.
Dave Chappelle took over like a
What's going
wedding
on with that?
chapel,
What's
like
going
an
on?
outdoor wedding chapel, and he set it up as a comedy show, socially distanced. Everybody gets tested.
Well, I saw one show, but there's more
he's done-
going on apparently.
He does them all the time. He does them
But
constantly.
where are they? Where can you see them on YouTube?
It's in Yellow Springs, Ohio. You
But
gotta fly in.
can you see them online?
you gotta
You have to go.
drive.
You have to be there. I love this guy. That guy is fantastic. So you have to go there. It's not
gotta be
recorded.
there,
nothing.
man. You gotta be
Bullshit.
there.
All right.
No,
this has
really,
got to
you
be
gotta be
HBO, Netflix. He's got to. No, he's got to be there. Can we
He
go
put
there?
One,
Can we go there?
Yeah, for sure.
Have you been?
I have not yet. No.
Have you been invited?
I've been busy. Yes,
Yeah,
I
you're
have. But
busy.
I've
Of
been
course
busy
you've been
with
invited. What am I
moving
talking
this
about?
place. This is the
Can I
first
carry your
show
bag,
we've
Joe
ever
Rogan?
done. Nope, I'm good. I don't want any sympathy. But this is the first night we've ever done in this show, in this space. So it's been a weird transition to just decide we're getting out of LA, and then literally 2 months later.
Can I ask you about that? Just because I had similar. I was gone within 6 weeks once I'd arrived here. I mean, so you felt it, and you took your family down here to check it out. You guys had been here before. You got business here, right? You've been here before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been here many times.
Yeah.
I've loved the city.
And it just seems like you moved real quick. I was surprised.
Well, my kids are in Zoom classes, which is a real bummer.
This is
It's a bummer, and I think it's
not
I think it's
schooling.
and I'm not saying this is clearly. I'm not saying they should be in school. I don't know. Maybe
Right.
you're right. Maybe you're right.
But you know what
I'm
you know
saying
what the
is-
situation is. What you're seeing
Yes.
right now.
What I'm
Yeah.
saying is Zoom classes are not healthy for kids. It's
No.
weird. It's a weird disconnect. They're not around their friends. When they are around their friends, they're more frantic. It's like I believe that children need a certain amount of socializing with each other in order to develop.
Yeah, of course.
I think it's important. And I think it's really good for them. I think it's good for them to emotionally experience conversations with each other, unsupervised. It's good. It's good to learn how to talk to people. It's good to go to your parents and tell them, Debbie got mad at me because I said, and you say, well, Debbie
Yeah.
probably thought this,
Yeah.
and you have these kind of
human
yes,
interactions.
Yes.
Yeah,
This
human
is
interactions.
this is what's.
Yeah.
I feel like if the kids aren't right in front of each other all the time like that, they're missing some of that. I don't know if I'm right. I'm hoping that this is just a momentary roadblock, and then a few months later from now, we have some sort of viable medication.
Whatever we have.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, we realize, okay, we're going to be okay, and people can go back to school. But kids, part of their development is interacting with other kids. It's just part of what it is.
That's the whole point of going there.
There's a dance. They learn. I remember things that I said that was mean when I was
Are
like
you
5 years old.
Are you worried
Like, why
about
did I
your
say
kids
that?
having this lapse of this? Now they're 15 and 12, I think, or 13.
No, 12 and 10.
Okay,
no,
sorry.
I'm not worried about it in terms of I don't think it's surmountable. It's a minor concern. The real concern is like, don't let your kid get eaten by a tiger. Right?
In Texas, where we have a lot of those fucking tigers.
Don't let your kids starve to death. Don't, there's a lot bigger concerns. But I think that as a parent, like, if you know something, you're supposed to teach it to your kids. If you have an idea of something, you're supposed to explain it to your kids. If you see things that are going in a weird way, so in this way, it's like you feel more of a need to have conversations with them about just life overall, and also what they're learning in school. But life overall, maybe even more so. To let them know, like, all these people, do you see these people around here? They're people. Just like your dad's a dummy.
Right.
And
Right.
your mom has to figure things out. Like, that's the whole world.
Yeah, right.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Your dad will tell you right now, daddy's a dummy. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't come to me with math problems. But, like, I'm going to protect you as much as I can. But you have to recognize that this whole world is filled with dummies like me.
Yeah.
Okay? So most people that are making the decisions, or at the very least, are choosing the people that make the decisions, are like me and dumb. So know that, and know
That's
that
a lot
like,
to swallow for a 12-year-old.
or a 10-year-old.
What the
But-
fuck,
but-
Dad?
But
What
when
are
you
doing to me?
communicate with them and like let them know, like, hey, like, we are all trying to work this out. This is what being a person is.
Do you think? I mean, my daughter just turned 30. My stepdaughters are
She
23
finally-
and 25.
Finally getting it.
My 30-year-old,
Yeah.
she fucking gets it so good. She really gets it.
It's awesome when they
She's-
get it.
She when I divorced second time, and this is the third final marriage. It's a charm. I love it. I was so in love.
Congratulations.
In love with my best friend. Thank you, and vice versa. My daughter came to me. She sat me. The lioness came back to the lion. She said, "Listen, I'm glad you left her. This is what you've done wrong. Here's the stuff that I think is fucked up. Here's how you fucking damaged me with some really stupid fucking shit, and it hurt me a lot. But I've forgiven you, and now you are going to get up on your 2 feet. You're going to be a fucking man. You're going to move on." And she blessed me on everything, and it was the most beautiful moment in my life. And from there, it's just been soaring. And that's when she had figured it out. She had figured it out before I had.
That's
Very
heavy.
impressed with her.
That's heavy.
Very impressed with her. Yeah. And that was just, and you know what? I think every child eventually comes to their parents and has a version of that conversation at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's great.
The hope is that you'll do better than yours did, and then
Of
your
course.
kids will do better than
Of
you
course.
did, and we evolve.
But we're so afraid of,
Yeah.
making it worse or making them feel the pain that we felt or rejection or disappointment. And that's it's a slippery slope, what you do there.
Yeah. I think we have to go back to what we were talking about. We haven't even been talking for that long. We've been talking for 50,000 years.
And already we've dumbed it down to fucking fingers on a touch screen. Blah, blah,
But dude,
blah.
realistically, it's been so short.
Well, here,
The amount of time
you make a
we've
good
been talking.
point. We were talking.
Yeah.
We're no longer talking. We're
Well,
texting.
we-
We're texting, Joe. We're
It
texting.
hit a weird dip. I think we're going to be okay.
We're
I
texting.
think- I honestly feel like if you looked at the way technology evolves things towards demand, and I think there's a legitimate demand today for more connection, and people are finding it
Sure.
in mason jars and
Yes,
reclaimed
yeah,
wood.
of course.
This is
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
thing
yeah.
that they're doing.
Of
But
course.
I think if technology
Yeah.
could eliminate this bizarre aspect of social media where you write things out and a person is not in front of you when this communication is delivered, and you're hurting their feelings, but you don't have to experience their pain or look in their eyes and see they're uncomfortable.
My stepdaughter Ellen, she moved to Chicago with her fiance just before 2 weeks before the shutdown. From Austin to there, they were getting ready. They had jobs lined up. Everything shut the fuck down. Horrific shit they've gone through. But they already were on a path, and they're now accelerating that path. They're going to Maine. They're unplugging. They're going to live completely within a smaller
Nomads.
Smaller community. No, smaller community.
Igloos.
Going back a little bit, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We
No.
can learn a lot from this. And if that's the trend, and we all make babies, please, we still have to make children. Dogs are not a substitute. I love dogs. We need to keep making babies. People, otherwise we become Japan and the Japanese death trap. The money will be fine. We're going to have UBI, some version of it. We'll be very innovative. You got to keep pounding the old in and out, eh? You got to keep making babies. We need babies. Otherwise, that will be a problem. That's just my view. I could be wrong. I smoked some weed today.
There's a
Who
thing that
knows?
people like to say, like
I
that we
think
don't
so.
need any more people. Like we're overpopulated.
the population bomb. Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
going on forever.
But it is kind of true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, especially if you're in a place
There's
like
a lot
LA.
of people. Yeah.
But there's also what's also kind of true is don't you like people? I love people. They're my favorite things.
People are the best things in the world to play
People
with.
are awesome. Yeah, but there is a problem when there's too many of us. There really is.
Is there really? It seems to always work out. It was supposed to
Man.
be too much here and too much then and too much then.
I'm not
I don't
opposed to
know.
the idea.
We got
that
a lot of
it's gonna
space,
work out.
man. We got a lot of space in the world still.
For now. I mean,
Yeah,
if we keep growing, eventually it's going to come to a point in time. But then there's the other concept that as things westernize, people are less and less likely to have children early in life because they want to
That's okay.
develop their career.
That's okay.
But then
That's okay.
populations drop.
No, but you still got to do your 2.3 children. You
have
can
to?
do it later. Yeah, I remember my mom said, "I'm getting my tubes tied because I've done my duty to the country." 2.3. She had 3 kids. I've done my 3 kids. I'm above average. I'm tying that shit up. Done with that. And that was what you did at the time.
We got the tubes tied.
Tubes tied. That's right. And then she's still divorced and had a much happier life without my dad. I believe.
Imagine back in the day when there was no tubes tied, there was no nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Joe, what did we grow up with? You could stick your dick in, you're going to get AIDS. That's what we grew up with. What the hell was all that about?
We
And
were
where
all
did that
scared.
go?
It went away with
Yeah, it went away.
science
Went away with science.
and voting.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing how it went
what,
away?
What killed?
How it went away
What do you
with
think
science.
happened? But wasn't it those protease inhibitors
With what?
with HIV?
That's a whole nother show by itself.
For real?
Yeah, it really. If you really look, I can give you some books. If you really, and I've done this. I've looked at 9/11, all this stuff. There's a lot to it. The HIV, and it's Anthony Fauci. It is Dr. Birx. It is Redfield. It's all the same people. And
Is it that anytime there's anything huge, like that's an enormous medical concern, there's also enormous amount of money involved? And is that part of the problem?
Yeah, that is. Well,
Yeah.
the whole system. In 2008 or 9, there was a financial conference, J.P. Morgan, Chase, Goldman Sachs, whatever, and they were talking about the future of medicine and vaccines, and everyone was all jacked up about it because vaccines are not regulated the same as every other medication, so you can't be held liable if someone has a problem from your vaccine. Now, there are
Right.
vaccine courts where the government quietly gives you money and you can get some restitution, but if the vaccine is shit, you can't sue the pharmaceutical company. So they saw this as it's like, holy shit, this is great. Thinking of it from a financial perspective. You're giving people medicine, charging for it before they're sick.
Right.
This is great. So you had vaccines against smoking addiction and things that really I don't think fit the actual description of vaccines. And now we're at the magical RNA, the mRNA vaccine, which is supposed to not trick your immune system by giving you a piece of the original virus, but to trick your immune system into changing something in your DNA that will reject the virus when it encounters it. So that's a little different, and it's not been proven to work. But
Jesus, you're
we'll
freaking
know
me
if-
out, Adam Curry.
It's not. I mean, it's very mainstream knowledge. It's not like this is something new.
Why does it seem like the next chapter of the horror movie?
Because
right?
that's what
like
it
the virus
is.
gets released.
Yeah.
Everybody's forced to not
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
The unrest in the streets, murder, racist murder.
Yeah,
all
possible.
of a sudden, everything's
all
on fire.
And what always
Portland
happens?
Anarchy.
Here comes fucking Joe and fucking Adam. We got our fucking shit strapped on. We're like, wah, 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 wah. We're gonna save the
I got the
fucking day.
mRNA to save the day. Bang.
I have faith in the Republic. I'm not worried. Doesn't matter who our president is. The Republic still has all the tools and the legality to function fine. I don't care. I have a preference. That's irrelevant.
I think there's
The
always gonna
Republic
be-
continues to function one way or the other. We have the right tools in place. Doesn't matter who's president. Is not life or death. There are shortcuts to a good future. That's for other people to determine. But we don't have to be worried about shit because America.
I'm glad you're optimistic.
I am.
and
I
I
am
think
very.
there's a real value in being optimistic. And I share your optimism. I think if you look at human beings from measurable history to today, it's a clear path of doing better. It doesn't mean that everything's perfect right now. It's not, but we got to look at behavior. We got to look at like what do you want someone lighting the building on fire because there's a guy inside that you disagree with who is the most progressive mayor in the fucking country?
Of course not. Of
But how
course
crazy
not.
is it? Progressives? He's like, not enough. They're like, not progressive enough. This guy is the most progressive guy. The mayor of Portland might be the most.
But doesn't that
progressive
show
guy.
that we're a little misguided and we just have to
I-
stand back and take a look at what's going on?
I think
Hold
that
on a second.
they're misidentifying the conflict. It's not as simple as I believe this and you believe that, and I want to be rational and you want to be
You remember
right.
when
And we
remember we were talking about how you need some kind of challenge, survival challenge in your life to be a full human being.
Yeah.
This, I think, unfortunately, is what happens to probably younger people, I'd say 20 to 30, is that their challenge has now become this dangerous game of taunting,
Yeah.
burning, doing more than just protesting. It can start with protesting, but that becomes a lifeblood that you need to have and need in order to feel like a full human. I mean, this is
Yeah.
we have our own challenges to feel like we are full humans. You have yours, I have mine. It's providing for your family and a certain level of success or whatever you're looking for.
Creating balance, right? Creating harmony, happiness.
It needs
In some way.
It needs
Yeah.
the input, but it needs the inputs and results. You need something that's hard, that's either physically challenging or mentally challenging or just work intensive or concentration.
Yeah.
And this replaces that for a lot of people, I think, who just need something to do.
100%, and it excites the tribal aspects of
Yeah.
our imagination.
Mm-hmm.
It really does, and it's unfortunate that it does that because it forces people to behave in this really, the conflict has already been established. It's already clear conflict. It's not as simple as I think one thing, you think a different thing, and you can tell me why you think something, and I can just accept it without a judgment on me as a human being and my intellect. And the problem is if you have something that's opposed or is opposing the ideas I have in my head, I think that you got me. You tapped me out. You made checkmate.
Right.
I'm like, fuck this guy. I'm going to fight this out.
Right.
And so your ego gets involved.
We need some deprogramming there.
We need deprogramming
deprogramming.
specifically in
Yeah.
the idea that your ideas equal you. That's crazy. Like
Yes. Yeah.
you should be a thing that thinks. And when ideas are presented to you, you should decide, is that valid? Is that good for everybody? Is that bad? Like, what is that? Is that poison the drinking water?
Right.
And then
Right.
move from there. But when we look at anything through the lens of ideology, we have these boundaries. You can't be
It's fear.
pro-
I think it's
choice
it's still
Republican.
I think it's still fear that you want to look over there, but you're almost kind of afraid. Like, what if I agree with it? We have to find the courage to be
Yeah.
less afraid of being open to other things. There's a lot more people than anyone really realizes who are not red or blue or white or black. A lot. We have these meetups, no agenda meetups, and it's self-organized. People they get together all over the world, 5 people, 20 people, sometimes bigger, sometimes smaller, and they're from all different ages, backgrounds, colors, religion, race, but they know one thing. I'm going to be clumsy here, and I'm not going to get triggered by any fucking shit you say, and we know that agreement is there. And even if people are completely opposite, it's like, okay, man, good, you want another beer? That's possible. We can do this. We can
It's
do
100%
this.
possible.
We can do this.
And this idea that you have to be, everyone has to be in agreement of every single goddamn issue in the world, otherwise you can't connect with them. It's nonsense.
No.
It's bad for all of us. I think what we were talking about earlier, that labels should be illegal.
Yeah.
It's a joke, but it's not.
No, it's not a joke.
Really, there's something to it, man. There's something to the idea that labels are a real problem with us. They're a real problem because we adhere to those labels. Then there's like a checklist of things you need to. I'm this. I'm pro Second Amendment. You have to write all these things down, and then you have to if someone is on the same tribe as you, You have to agree with them about everything politically.
I think a lot of my views overlap with what someone would call conservative.
Yeah.
But I find that an incredible insult if you call me a Republican or even a Libertarian or a Democrat. I don't want to be fucking labeled anything. I don't need that. It's not fair.
I think the best evidence that this is actually taking place is what's happening right now between the right and the left and how polarized everything is. How weirdly polarized.
Yeah, but is it really? I think that everyone's now in agreement. Okay, shit's out of control. We got to stop this. Whatever's going on in the streets, it's not everywhere, but there's enough of it that it's fucked up. We got to stop it.
Yeah.
Everyone's in agreement. So now both political parties are kind of, the Democratic Party, and they've come in sailing in. Okay, yeah, we think this should stop. So that I think it will start to stop. This is going to have to happen.
Well, it's one of two things is going to happen. It's going to stop or it's going to accelerate, right? And that it's all dependent upon what kind of reaction people have to it.
So whenever you want to take over a society, the best strategy is strategy from above and below. So the below right now, let's just say if someone is thinking about this and running this and trying to fuck with us, below is your on the street riots, Black Lives Matter, inequality, whatever people are pissed off about. Above is COVID. That's why it's dangerous for us, because we have this overall
compounding factors.
Yeah, overall fear of
hurricane and an earthquake.
Death and an asteroid.
Oh,
and an asteroid. Yeah.
I think we both agree that we probably can be okay through this.
Yeah.
And it's better if we don't freak out.
Yeah.
And we look for possible positive outcomes. And that's what I think. I think.
And it's hard. It's
hard. It's hard to do that.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think what I said earlier about controversial people having platforms, I think it's important that people figure it out for themselves. You can't trick me with a faith healer. Why is it going to trick you? Is it going to trick your kids?
Maybe.
What are you telling your kids?
I don't know.
Isn't the problem that we need to educate people as to what people are capable of lying about, trickery, cults, evangelists, late night TV people trying to get all your money? Shouldn't we let them exist and then point to them? See
yes,
that, kids?
I
That's an
so.
alligator. That'll eat your dog.
I believe
See that alligator?
Yes.
If you walk that alligator by the lake, it'll eat your dog.
Now, if there's illegality going on within any group or whatever, then you need to process that immediately.
But it is illegal. It should be kind of
care.
illegal. Like if you're fucking pretending you're talking to Jesus and you give me an anointed bandana that's going to protect you from any financial.
No, I don't. I don't think that should be illegal. No fucking way. What do you know? What do I know about the bandana? The power of the bandana could be very big. I don't know.
We're on a Tom Hanks movie and it's real.
Which one?
Big. Something like that. Remember Big had the thing?
Yeah, of course I know what that was.
The
Can you imagine if you were me and I was you for 24 hours? We had to go about our lives.
What would you do? What would be the first thing you did?
Wow. I don't know, man. That's real. I think I'd probably go test out what I can do with my jujitsu and all that fucking shit. Let me go to the gym for a second. Fuck. Back kick, fucking motherfucker. Okay, I like this. I have to remember this. So when I get in my old body, I can do
Imagine when that does happen, where people can literally become you could put your body in an Olympic gymnast body.
Yeah, why not? That's Elon. That's Elon's. Ultimately, that's where Elon's going. I'm sure.
What did you think about the test with the pigs?
Well, again, I think I love Elon for his, hey, here's my Cybertruck. It has bulletproof windows. Shatter. And then we're like, what the fuck? It's fine, man. The fuck, you threw a fucking ball bearing at it. It's fine, Elon. I know it'll be great in the final mix. We'll fix it all. And it's like the pigs. The pig doesn't want to come out. Like, boop, 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 boop. I know what you're doing. I'm good with it. I like the idea. I'd love to see people who have MS or ALS, whose brain is not Parkinson's, whose brain is not communicating the functions, to be able to keep those going, because I think that's the initial application, and that's fantastic.
Right.
But am I interested in at least? Is Jamie sleeping? I thought he was snoring. I am very interested in the application of direct interfacing. I'd like to be able to just go, I just want to do my email.
Right.
Like that. And everything just happens, because he's right. The interface between our brains and the network, the whole community, the world, is actually going from 10 fingers to 1 or 2 with our phones. I like the idea of upping that bandwidth transfer. I think that, but I would like to be able to make sure I can turn it off and I have control when I want it.
But doesn't it sort of go in line with what we were talking about? Like people have only been talking for a short amount of time.
Sure.
Like
Sure.
before people were talking, it was just grunts and pointing.
Yeah. Pictures.
Trying to figure out how to kill the
emojis.
deer.
In a way, we're going back. We went from emojis on the wall to emojis on text. Smiley face, puke emoji, mask emoji.
But you get it.
Right? So
do get it.
That's an abstraction of language.
Someone sends you a yellow fist.
So that is actually how computer code works.
Yeah.
Computer code is binary. You got an assembler on top of it. Then you got maybe an interpreter. You got a scripting language, and then it's almost English. And before you know it, you're just saying this emoji, and you put these two emojis together. You know exactly what I mean.
That is crazy.
So when you
right?
get the raindrops with the
it is crazy.
with the fucking, what is that thing, the
eggplant.
The eggplant.
Yeah.
Then you know what I mean,
You know,
Joe
it's
Rogan.
dick
Not
and
answering my
wet
text.
pussy.
Not
Bam.
answering my eggplant water emoji
There's
text.
something about eggplant and water emojis. Like, that's a bold move. Like, and
Followed
like,
by peach
you could do-
emoji.
Exactly. But you could bring that to court, and people will be like, I don't see anything wrong here.
I don't know
the
what's
guy
going-
likes fruits and
What
vegetables.
is he trying to tell
He's
me
clearly
here?
a vegan who likes surfing.
That's another benefit of the phone, the flip phone. I can't really do emojis.
Yeah,
Not
that's a
much
good
going
move.
on. Not going on.
Adam Curry, shall we wrap this up?
Yeah, Joe Rogan, thank you so much, man. Again, welcome
this
to
is the-
Texas.
the
Welcome
maiden
to
voyage
Austin.
Here at the
You've
spaceship.
got
Thank you,
yourself
sir.
a beautiful
Thank you
studio.
very much. We did it. We did it.
Welcome to Texas. my
Thanks,
friend.
man.
It's good
Thanks.
to be here.
Welcome to guest number 1 here at the new place. Young Jamie, you're a bad motherfucker. You put it together.
Fuck yeah, Jamie.
Shout out.
Thank you.
Shout out to Drew T for the desk, Matt Alvarez for the place. And that's it. All right. Bye. Thank you.